Wednesday, 4 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. We have a very cold start, frost and fog to get through in your forecast.
Well, that is a dangerous combination to be sure. Thank you so much, Greg, and thank you so much for starting your day with us right here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4 a.m. and ready, set, go here on your Wednesday morning, January the 3rd. I am Justin McFarland. Plenty to get to this morning, but first, we do want to begin with that forecast. Cold Red meteorologist Greg Bova standing by with the promise of frigid fog and a lot more.
Oh, yes, we have the fog and we have frost this morning, and we're going to have patchy fog again throughout most of this morning. I would say all the way through 9 o'clock. There will be areas where we'll get a little bit more dense, then die down, and then you'll see it creep up in other places. So we'll keep our eyes glued to that here for the coming 5 hours for you. Chilly days will continue. The afternoon is going to be in the 40s today and tomorrow, and then we'll get up near 50 degrees for Friday. That brings in our next weather maker, some much needed rain. We'll move in late Friday night into early Saturday. We've shifted the timeline to start earlier and also end earlier on your Saturday, which is good. Here are your feels likes here to kick off the morning. 24 in Nashville. It felt like 37 degrees at this time yesterday, so we feel a good 13 degrees cooler, and there will be frost on windshields if you parked outside overnight. Keep that in mind. All clear for Code Red. What are we tracking? We are tracking rain that is going to move in for us, and that will arrive late Friday. Here's your 7-day forecast. 46 degrees later today, 45 tomorrow, 51 on Friday. Coming up in about 10 minutes from right now, we're going to look ahead to that next weather maker, track it, and see how much rain we could end up seeing.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning takes us over to I-40 at Donaldson Pike. You can see for yourself how the traffic is flowing over there with no big problems out there this morning. We saw a little bit of a pop this time yesterday with a lot of traffic heading over there towards the airport, but this morning just haven't seen it nearly as much, so it could be a much more easier day. Schools still not in session for many parts of the mid-state, so you could get another day of fairly easy traffic. We'll be here to let you know as we're live and local with you through 9. Well, believe it or not, an iPhone is now getting credit for making sure that first responders got to a crash down in Columbia. They say it's all thanks to the iPhone crash notification. Now, the Murray County Fire Department says when they arrived, they were able to find this car right here. Look at that. The damage from that car. It was found in a creek. The driver was waiting alongside of the road. There's no word yet on exactly what caused the crash, but authorities say that it was Apple's crash detection system that was able to sense a severe car crash and then connected emergency responders to the location of that crash without the driver ever having to call 911. In Operation Crime and Justice, a family is shaken after a bullet hit their car over the holiday weekend while they were driving on Broadway. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joins us live downtown with more on exactly what happened and what city leaders have to say about this.
Good morning, Justin. So a horrific experience for one family. There were children actually sitting in the car when a bullet struck the window of their car. Now, this happened just inches away from the back seat. And just imagine that, children in the back seat of the car and a bullet strikes the side of the window. Now, this all went down during the Music City Bowl prep rally on Friday night on Broadway. And the Facebook post reads, "Jesus always goes with us." Words written on a family's Facebook post after reliving the horrifying moments when the back window of their car was shot. Children were in the back seat. This before the big game between the Auburn University Tigers and the Maryland Terps. Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents downtown, says he's been in contact with police and there is no indication the vehicle was shot at from Broadway.
Did not get any calls for service on shots fired, nor did they see anything on the cameras, and the angle that the bullet hit the window leads them to believe it was a shot that might have been fired up in the air and a projectile that had landed and potentially from farther away.
Now, thankful no one was hurt. The Facebook post says this could have been a different story. Their children screaming inside and the window right behind and occupied in this window. right behind an occupied car seat. Now, according to Metro Police stats, violent offenses are down just about 5% compared to last year. And Coupon says that they are working, there's work being done behind the scenes to ensure the safety of downtown for tourists and residents and Nashvillians alike. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
There are new numbers at the border coming up. Here, what one local organization has to say about the migrants.
4:07 is the time, and new this morning, there's a brand new surge of migrants at the United States-Mexico border. Reports say that the U.S. border officials are on track to process over 300,000 migrants in the month of December alone, possibly the highest amount on record. The Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or TIRC, is talking to our own Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar to tell us exactly what they're seeing here in Nashville. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Justin. TIRC says they are actually seeing arrivals here in Nashville. So they tell me that they see around 1 to 2 new arrivals here weekly. They say it's a steady number of them walking through their doors. The organization connects migrants to resources such as transportation, temporary shelter, places that could provide food, medical needs, and more. Judith Claire June is a campaigns and advocacy director of TIRC. She tells me the mission is to be welcoming to migrants.
So I think it's really important for people to keep in mind that the bigger perspective, that immigrants are moving for very similar reasons that people move nationally, right? People are moving to seek safety when they're in danger. People are moving for better opportunities, to be reunited with their families and loved ones.
To be connected to resources for migrants, you could head to their website at tnimmigrant.org. Reporting live in Antioch, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
409, taking a look at your forecast. Very cold. If you thought yesterday morning was cold, getting up and getting moving, today even colder. We feel like we're in the mid-20s right side of your screen. Current temperatures, that's not exactly how it feels. Take about 2 to 3 degrees off of those numbers. Doesn't sound like much, but it will feel very different than yesterday as you're starting off here on a Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, not much rain to worry about, but Friday night into Saturday, that's our next chance for some showers that move into the forecast. Taking a look here, high pressure moving out, so clouds will increase throughout today down to our south and our west. There's some rain that will pivot to the south of Middle Tennessee, but it will, scoot its way through portions of Alabama and then into Georgia. You'll see that right here. That rain stays down to the south. The next good weather maker going to move in Friday into Saturday. Let's time it out for you here on Future Track. We're going to stop you at 7 p.m. Rain moving in a little bit earlier now than anticipated earlier in the week. So if you have evening plans on your Friday into the overnight, keep that in mind. Rain begins to move in. It'll be out of here by about lunchtime on Saturday. And then we get another chance to see some rain on Tuesday as well. This weekend, how does it shake out for the Cumberland Plateau? We always know higher elevation, colder temperature, better chance to see a few light snow showers. Not much will stick, but if we see a few flakes flying, that's the most likely area Friday night into Saturday.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning at 411. Quick look outside at I-24 at Waldron Road. You make that drive in from Laverne out there this morning. We are doing fine out there. Keep in mind, school systems are not back in session for many parts of the midstate. We know metro schools will get back in coming up here next week. But right now, most school systems are out, and that leads to a decrease in traffic out there on the road. So we're seeing that here. We've also checked the big board over at the airport. No delays at all over there at Nashville International, so we're doing great over there. We'll continue to follow things out there on the road, let you know exactly what we find, if anything, and keep you up to date with Steer Clear Traffic live and local with you through 9. Well, coming up in health news, what doctors are saying could be a game changer for children with cardiac issues. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning at 4:13. It's an update to a story we first brought you as breaking news yesterday. According to Metro Police, the victim of Tuesday night's shooting just off of Nolensville Pike was an 18-year-old named William Silva. Now, according to the police report, two young men in a black SUV dropped Silva off at the Southern Hills Medical Center around 1 a.m. Then they left. Police say that Silva was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and died a short time later. His family has started a GoFundMe page for funeral expenses for him. Well, 22 states now have a higher minimum wage, according to the National Employment Law Project. Many businesses are at or above $15 an hour for 2024. That also includes around 40 U.S. cities and counties across the country. So here are a few states that now have a higher minimum wage. Now that we've begun the brand new year, Maryland is up to $15 an hour. They were at $13.25. California is at $16 an hour. They were at $15.50. And then there are other cities in Washington state where wages have gone up to $20.29 an hour, where before it was around $18.99 an hour. Boy, it's expensive to live there. Tennessee and Kentucky are not experiencing minimum wage increases, at least not at the moment. There's been discussion, but no movement. A New Jersey mother gave birth to twins, but she will be planning separate birthday parties. That's because the twin boys were actually born on different days and different years. Trisha Hardman has more on the way that the babies were born and how it surprised a lot of the parents.
Eve and Billy Humphrey were caught off guard when they found out they were expecting twin boys.
The doctor was like, well, there's 2 heartbeats. And I was like, let me see. I don't believe you. And I was in shock.
They were due at the end of January, but Eve's water broke on New Year's Eve, which also happens to be Billy's birthday.
I'm like, what a great birthday gift. I get 2 boys on my birthday. So we came in early enough on that day that I was thinking, okay, maybe this is going to happen.
Baby A, Ezra, was born at 11:48 p.m. on New Year's Eve, weighing in at 6 pounds even.
Once he was born, you know, thinking of the tax write-off, I was like, maybe we can get another tax write-off.
But little brother had other plans.
I was still pushing when everyone's doing the countdown, and we just said Happy New Year in the middle of me trying to push out baby B.
Ezekiel was born at 12:28 a.m. on New Year's Day, weighing 4 pounds 15 ounces. Twin brothers born on different days, different years.
I just know they're going to be world changers, and they couldn't share the same day, right? They needed their own spotlight.
Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, I was like, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy.
Congratulations to the proud parents there. On top of Dad's birthday, bringing in on New Year's Eve, the twins are having different birthdays. They also have a big brother whose birthday is January the 3rd. So a whole lot of celebration in that family going on within just a few days. Let's talk about your forecast. Greg Bobe is standing by with a look at what we are dealing with out there, as it is downright cold out there.
It's cold outside, it's cold inside, it's cold everywhere this kind of morning, you know? I'm just saying, and my car didn't heat up until I got here.
Yeah,
so,
that happens.
It was one of those days where you have the heater on.
Bundling up in the car is that kind of a morning.
It absolutely is, and it's not going anywhere, not just this morning, but tomorrow morning and Friday morning as well. Let's take a look at one other factor in the forecast for us here to kick off your Wednesday morning is visibility starting to reduce a little bit here east of Nashville. I would say Nashville toward the Cookeville area. If you're going down 40, that might be an area where you find some fog here to kick off the beginning of today. And this will only get a little worse before it gets better. Once we get close to sunrise, that's our best chance to see a little more dense fog. Temperatures are not comfortable. 21 is what it feels like right now in Murfreesboro, 23 in Nashville. Right side of your screen, actual air temperatures aren't too far off from how it feels. But either way, whether it felt like that or it feels like this, it's still a cold start, and you may have some frost on your windshield. Keep that in mind. Now, what we're watching is late Friday night into early Friday morning, I should say early Saturday morning, the possibility of our next chance for some rain in the forecast. 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain likely as this system moves through. There still is a very small chance we could see some light snow for the Cumberland Plateau during that time frame as well. Every half hour, we'll give you new looks at future track and any updated potential rainfall totals. Here's your 7-day forecast. 46 degrees today, 45 tomorrow, 51 on Friday. And then, yes, that rain will move in. We're not done after Saturday. Another hefty dose of rain as we get toward the middle of next week. We'll talk about as well next half hour.
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's take a quick look here at 65 at Trinity Lane. Boy, we are wide open, looking fun out there this morning as you get out the door. See some fire personnel moving alongside Brick Church Pike. That's just off of Trinity Lane. They're off of the interstate, but nothing on the interstate that is holding you up at all. We're good to go with clear traffic across the midstate here so far this morning. We're going to check back in over at the airport, let you know if there's anything there that can hold you up, but so far so good so far on this Wednesday morning. A major milestone in medicine, which could be a game changer for children with cardiac issues, according to a study that was published on Tuesday in the JAMA Journal. The tissue used in a partial heart transplant and a 2022 surgery has now grown over time. Owen Monroe received a historic procedure when he was just 18 days old. At the time, his heart was roughly the size of a strawberry. Doctors say the now 20-month-old has a heart that is as big as an apricot. Most importantly, the brand new blood vessels and valves have developed along with Owen. Researchers say it could prevent him from needing additional surgeries in the future. 12 other children have since received partial heart transplants. Could be a big breakthrough when it comes to pediatric medicine. 4:20 is the time. Live look there at Bridgestone Arena. That's where your Nashville Predators were victorious. Prince 3, Blackhawks nothing. UC Soros with 21 saves last night for the guys in gold. They will play the Calgary Flames coming up tomorrow at 7 o'clock as the Preds look to continue their winning ways. We'll be right back. 4:23 is the time following weeks of backlash over her response to anti-Semitism on the Harvard University campus. The school's president resigned. Fox News' Caroline Shelby shares the details.
Harvard President Claudine Gay called it quits Tuesday, resigning from her post just weeks after a congressional hearing where she failed to say promoting the genocide of Jews violated university policies.
Calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign.
Gay is the second Ivy League president to lose her job after that hearing. University of Pennsylvania head Elizabeth McGill resigned on December 9th. Both faced backlash following their responses to the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel.
Our Jewish American students felt so threatened and unsafe and unsupported by not just the leadership of these institutions, but by their boards.
And I hope that this day, January 2nd, moving onwards, can be a day where we can take into account the fact that learning matters, education matters, and taking a stand against hate and anti-Semitism also matters.
Some professors are questioning the process that led to Gay's resignation.
I think asking a president to resign because congressional leaders don't like their testimony, that's not something that I support.
Gay also faced accusations of plagiarism, which Harvard's governing board called a few instances of inadequate citation. In her resignation email, she wrote, "It has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am."
Gay plans to remain at Harvard as a member of the faculty. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
424, taking a look at your Code Red forecast. No Code Red weather, which is good, but looking ahead to the weekend, that's our next weather maker that will pull through the mid-state. Rain early Saturday. It's going to start after sunset on Friday and then go overnight into the first half of your Saturday. Drier by Sunday, not completely dry. A stray shower can't be ruled out. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s both of those days. Best part, we have warmer nights. We are very cold right now, right side of your screen. We're in the 20s. We'll be in the 30s Saturday night and Sunday night. Future rainfall, how much do we see? Nothing today, tomorrow. There you go. Friday into Saturday, early in the morning, a half of an inch to an inch of rainfall for many of us. The more south we go, the better our chance for some heftier rainfall totals. And then another batch moves in on Tuesday. We'll talk about that as we go into our 4:30 half hour. Justin?
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get out to I-65 near Rosa Parks Avenue there on the north side of town near Metro Center. As you can see, things moving along just fine. No big problems out there for you in either direction. We are smooth sailing so far this morning. That includes over near the airport, I-40 at Dawson Pike. No problems there. We did receive some reports of problems inside the airport yesterday with some of the wait times being rather long. That's something we'll keep an eye on this morning. But so far, we are not seeing any big problems at all on the roads for you this morning, both inside or outside the airport. 4:26 is the time. I want to take a live look this morning on Lower Broadway. You can see many of the neon signs down there. Many of those businesses have just opened in recent years. Some of them have been there for many decades. One of the businesses that you will not see in this shot, but is nearby, is the Wild Horse Saloon. The Wild Horse Saloon is actually on 2nd Avenue here, not far away, about a block away from where this shot is. The Wild Horse, is, as you can see, has shut down. It closed after 30 years in business. One of their last events was a Music City Bowl. Had a big party there at the Wild Horse Saloon where they welcomed in both teams, as they've done in many years. One of my memories of the Wild Horse is a Fox 17 Christmas party one year was at the Wild Horse, which was a lot of fun. That was several years ago. If you want to read more about the history of the Wild Horse and what's going to happen to it now, you can do so over on our website, fox17.com. You can also chime in on exactly your memories of the Wild Horse and what you think about it. Coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to have our own Peyton Muse with the very latest on what people are saying about the end of this Nashville institution that used to broadcast around the world with lots of events and concerts coming in from the Wild Horse that, again, has shut its doors.
Coming up, a local organization that receives new arrivals tells me how they are welcoming them.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A traumatic holiday weekend for one family after a bullet hit their car. What city leaders are doing to keep downtown Nashville safe?
No rain this morning, but fog creeping in and much colder than even yesterday morning. How long the cold air sticks around coming up in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Live look here along I-40, very close to White Bridge Road. As you can see, traffic moving along very smoothly out there. We're going to have the very latest on anything else that can get in your way coming up in the next few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4:30 here on your Wednesday morning, January the 3rd. I'm Justin McFarland. We're going to begin this morning with Operation Crime and Justice. A family is shaken up after a bullet hits their car over the holiday weekend. Happened in the heart of downtown Nashville around the Music City Bowl. The family was on Broadway at a pep rally between the Auburn Tigers and the Maryland Terrapins football team. Fox 17 News, Peyton Muse, live downtown to tell us exactly how the family's doing after being shaken up by that stray bullet.
Clearly, Justin, a traumatic experience for this family. But just imagine being on Broadway. You're here to celebrate the big game, and glass shatters. A bullet is just inches away from the back seat of your car while there's children inside. That's just what this family unfortunately went through on Friday night. Now the family is working through the trauma of what they experienced. Thankful no one was hurt, but this situation could have had a different ending. Metro Police say there was no indication that their vehicle was shot on Broadway. The bullet hit the window and hit the ground. Police believe the shot was fired in the air and came down, striking the victim's car.
The entertainment district is a unit is a big thing for the downtown core. They're a dedicated unit Thursday through Sunday that, to even that Facebook post, there was a quick response of officers to this situation that were there and ready to respond.
Now that's Jacob Coupin, Metro Council member for downtown, and he says overall Nashville is a safe city, and it's unfortunate that this happened. According to Metro Police data, crime is down just over 5%, and Coupin says, along with the mayor of nightlife, that they're walking through neighborhoods and especially walking through downtown to identify those dark crime pockets within the area. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red Station.
Waking up here to cold temperatures and potentially frost down your windshield if you parked outside. Taking a look here, this could be you. You might not necessarily be scraping the windshield, but getting that defrost going might give you an extra few minutes that you have to wait before you leave the parking spot. So keep that in mind here. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are in the 20s. Chilly days are ahead. A few patches of fog are going to be developing here. A few of them are already to the east of the Nashville area. Much needed rainfall is ahead. We'll have 2 rounds of it, one late Friday into Saturday, and another as we go into Tuesday. You'll see both of them right here on the 7-day forecast. 46 degrees. That's your afternoon high temperature for a start in the 20s. 45 for tomorrow. 51 on Friday. I have shifted the timeline of when the rain moves in Friday and when it moves out on Saturday. So things have moved a little bit here hour by hour that we'll break down for you. Coming up in a few, the best part of the weekend, if you're not liking the 20s to kick off the day, will be in the 30s overnight Friday. 30s overnight Saturday into Sunday. Best day of the entire forecast will be Monday of next week. So something to look up to, or to look forward to as you start the next week. And then Tuesday, another very good dose of rain. We'll piece both of those together and see how much rain in the next 7 days we'll see total and track that weekend weather maker.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's take a quick look at what we've got going on out there. This is going to be I-40 at White Bridge Road. This is over on the west side of town. You can see several trucks over there sleeping on the shoulder of the road. So if you're going out and about, just be sure to watch out for that. This is a common practice. This happens all the time. We've got quite a few trucks out there this morning, even though not as many as we could have, but not one or two. We've got a few over there on the side. Other than that, we're good to go out there on the roads. We'll continue to keep you up to date. Well, there's a surge of brand new migrants down at the U.S.-Mexico border. Reports say that the U.S. border officials are on track to process hundreds of thousands of migrants for the month of December. The Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or TIRC, is talking to our own Fox 17 News Karen Aguilar to tell us exactly how they're trying to help the migrants who arrive here in Nashville. And Karen, plenty of them do.
Yeah, TIRC staff tells me that they're seeing around 1 to 2 new arrivals here behind me weekly. They say there's a steady stream of migrants walking through those doors. Even though it's not a crisis at this moment, they're expecting more to come in through the upcoming weeks, as they've seen in recent months. Now, what the TIRC organization does is it helps connect migrants with resources. Those resources could be anything from temporary housing to providing places that provide food, places that provide medical supplies, and more. They even help connect them with organizations that take them to other cities. Judith Claire June, the campaigns and advocacy director for TIRC, addresses what Nashvillians might be feeling at this moment.
We know that families are struggling financially, right? There's rising housing costs, cost of food. And so it's understandable that people are feeling anxious. But I think it's really important as we talk about immigration that we keep the broader perspective in mind.
Claire June says the broader perspective is helping welcome new arrivals and directing them to resources. Reporting live in Antioch, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you so much. And you can get more local reporting just like this delivered right to your inbox by signing up for our daily newsletter. You can do so on our homepage. You can find us over at fox17.com. Got a dry January has some positive effects. We're going to tell you what health experts are saying about the long-term effects of a drier month when it comes to alcohol.
Crisis in the class.
4:39 is the time here on this Wednesday morning. The Murfreesboro Police Department has identified the victim of a deadly crash that happened over the weekend. The police report says that the crash occurred over on Lebanon Pike, very close to Cherry Lane. Happened on Friday, December the 29th. Now, according to the police department, an 18-year-old named Mason Rowland was found unresponsive in an SUV. The Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Department had to use the jaws of life to try and free the victim from the vehicle. Police say that the teen did die, unfortunately, at the scene. The impact of the crash caused power lines to hang low over that particular roadway. According to the police department, the road was closed for several hours and traffic was rerouted while the fatal accident crash team investigated, and police were also there to do that. Plus, crews did replace that power pole. Let's talk to Greg Bobus. He's standing by to look at your forecast here as we are off to a cold one here on this Wednesday.
That we are. So if you're an outdoor runner or exerciser, yesterday morning was cold. This morning even colder. So if you weren't comfortable yesterday, today you'll be even more uncomfortable. 27 degrees at 5 a.m., 29 at 7 o'clock, and 31 by 8 o'clock. We don't break the 30-degree mark until we get well past sunrise, a good hour and a half after. Now, one more thing we have to watch out for, and we are actually watching for it, areas of some patchy fog that are settling in. Right now, I-40, say you're going from Cookeville into the Nashville area or vice versa, that might be an area where you're seeing some dense fog begin to settle in, and there will be more pockets of this throughout the morning all the way through 9 o'clock. Right side of your screen, we have our current temperatures, and those are going to be there for you all the way through 9 o'clock. Coming up in the next check of the forecast, a few things are coming your way. A new look at future track. I have changed the timeline of when rain moves into Middle Tennessee going into your weekend. If you have Friday evening plans, you'll want to listen up, and then we'll look ahead to a little warming trend by the end of the week. So some good and some inconvenient coming your way.
Stay clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway out there in the Antioch area. As you can see, traffic moving along without any issue. We're doing just fine out there. No major crashes to tell you about this morning. We're doing great so far on the roads. Of course, things are always subject to change, and if they do, we'll be sure to let you know what they are. Coming up here on Fox 17 News this morning, so we got you covered with your Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. A dry January commitment may actually improve your overall health. A brand new study claims that those who took part in a trend which squares off alcohol for the month of January reaped benefits for at least 6 months afterwards. The Hazelden Betty Ford Chicago outpatient manager says that the benefits have been found to lead to recovery from alcohol dependency and drinking habits, which can lead to a change in lifestyle. People can also feel the positive effects in as little as 48 hours and can experience better sleep, more energy, and improvement in smell and taste after going a month without alcohol. Something to think about. Well, coming up, a look at holiday travel. We're going to tell you what the TSA and BNA is saying about those who are headed home from the holidays. We'll be right back.
This Fox 7.
4:44 is the time. It was a busy holiday weekend at U.S. airports. According to the Transportation Security Administration, more than 2.6 million people went through TSA security checkpoints across the country on the Friday before New Year's Eve. That number was 2.5 million on Saturday and 2.1 million on Sunday. Meanwhile, over at BNA, between December the 17th and January the 1st, the checkpoint put around 406,884, whereas the equivalent days of the week in 2022 recorded around 354,000 people. The busiest day this year was the Sunday before the Christmas weekend, followed by the Tuesday and Wednesday following Christmas. There were no record-breaking days set this year, at least not at Nashville International. Well, the demand for gasoline in the United States went down by double digits in the last week. According to Gas Buddy, U.S. gasoline demand fell 12% last week during the holidays after rising up the week before. The nation's average price of gas fell nearly 2 cents from where it was a week before. $3.06 is what we were talking about for the price of gas right now. Of course, you can get it cheaper than that in many parts of the mid-state. You can go to the Fox 17 fuel gauge. We got a whole site over there just for that. Well, throughout 2023, artificial intelligence has proved to be a very handy tool. It can write essays, generate images, and even help us communicate with robots. Well, in the excitement of it all, or the horror of it all, depending on how you look at it, isn't expected to end with just those services. With technology experts analyzing where AI and humanoid robot developments could be going on in 2024. Let's get over to Fox News' Kevin Yurstri with the very latest look at the new technology that's going to be coming forward.
Developments in artificial intelligence and robot software took 2023 by storm. And throughout the new year, technology experts say these innovations are only expected to improve, especially when it comes to the accuracy of the responses AI programs generate. Brendan Englot of the Stevens Institute of Technology believes there will also be a greater push to advance the language skills of robots using AI.
I think in 2024, we're really going to see that evolving, and we're going to see increasing robotics capabilities that involve human language and conversational instructions provided by human operators,
as well as refine a robot's coordination and ability to perform more complex tasks.
Does AI allow robots to walk or manipulate or move with more dexterity or agility? That is kind of a frontier we have not fully conquered yet. I would say that lies ahead for 2024.
Engineering company Apptronik is currently working on its Apollo robot. The humanoid is designed to move boxes and stack supplies for large retailers and manufacturers. Given a recent report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which finds there are millions of open jobs and not enough unemployed people to fill them, officials say it's critical robot technology forges on this year to help fill worker gaps in warehouses and factories.
Especially with the infrastructure bills that the U.S. is pushing forwards over the next couple of years, the demand for blue-collar labor is going to do nothing but increase over time.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Just never know what's around the bend with that. All right, thank you so much. 4:48 is the time. Let's get over to Greg Bopus. He's standing by to tell us about a cold forecast that does include some fog in certain areas.
Yeah, foggy and frosty, both of them here this morning, depending upon where you're at. So we're going to keep tracking that for you. And one other thing we're tracking is some rain for the weekend.
Okay.
But we really need it. Take a look at this map right here. This is our drought monitor, and we'll get an update to it tomorrow.
Dry.
Yeah, the more red we get, the worse off we are. We need some rain. I've got good news, though, in that department. We're going to get 2 different weather makers that move in that will give us some substantial rain to cut into the drought just a little bit. We started this drought back in August of last year, and it's continued to get worse week by week. Taking a look at Doppler radar, the next weather maker is not what you see to the bottom left-hand side of your screen. This will scoot down to the south of us and stay away from Middle Tennessee today, tomorrow, and early Friday. However, I have, like I mentioned, changed the timeline of rain moving in Friday. Do you have Friday evening plans? Listen up and take a look at your screen, because that first batch moves away. The second one does move in, and it will bring in some rain starting as early as 6 or 7 o'clock Friday evening into the overnight, and then exiting early on your Saturday. So most of your Saturday afternoon trending drier than it did yesterday. How much rain overall through the 9th through Tuesday when that second batch moves in? 1 to 3 inches of rain. So For the first time in a while, we'll have a pretty wet pattern that settles in for a good 4 or 5 days, and we need it. Like you just saw on the drought monitor, every little bit of rain will help go a long way here, and the more we can get before we get even close to talking about spring, the better we're going to be. 46 degrees later on this afternoon, but we are cold. Temperatures right side of your screen have us in the 20s to wake up to. We feel like we're in the low to middle 20s across all of Middle Tennessee.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get a quick look outside if we can. This is going to be I-40 at 46th Avenue over there on the west side of town. As you can see, traffic moving along without any issue. We're doing wide open and fine out there this morning. Hopefully we can keep it that way over the next few hours. We are not expecting a huge rush hour this morning and really won't expect the full crush of rush hour to return until next Monday or Tuesday when all the school systems get back into session. But that certainly will not happen later today. We'll see what happens out there on the roads. Always something going on. We'll let you know with Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. Well, the year is 2024, which means senior citizens will now be seeing an increase to those Social Security benefits. The Social Security Administration announced earlier this fall or last fall that the recipients will receive an annual cost of living adjustments of nearly 3.2% beginning this month. That comes out to an average of more than $50 per month. This is the third year in a row that you will see a bump in payments as a result of course, inflation. The cost of everything is going up. However, it is a much smaller increase compared to what people have seen over the last 2 years. Credit card debt is also exploding, and Americans are feeling the pain. According to a new survey by LendingTree, just half of America's credit card customers feel they can pay off their December balance in full. An all-time low in terms of customer confidence as well. In the month of November, 58% felt the same. The national credit card balance stands at around $1 trillion. I didn't know we had a national credit card balance. $1 trillion, that's... Well, the average interest rate has now reached 21%. That's the highest point recorded by the Fed in the last 3 decades. $1 trillion, it's going to take some time to pay off. Pay the minimum, that could be a while. Well, let's take a look at what's trending right now on our Facebook page. Fox 17 on our Facebook page. You can see right there the Preds have a bit of a proposal, and it's with Jelly Roll assisting. It's an unforgettable moment at the Preds Blackhawks game as Jelly Roll didn't get engaged, but he helped 2 lucky Preds fans get engaged there at Bridgestone Arena. There he is dropping down on one knee in front of around 18,000 people. And looks like he got the yes, not the I do. That comes later. He got the yes that he was looking for, hugs and kisses and rings for everybody. Great job there by Jelly Roll. And on top of all that, the Preds got the win, 3-0. So I guess the Blackhawks got a ring too, 0 in the win column, score column. Live look over at Nissan Stadium. This is where the Tennessee Titans will play their season finale against the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up on Sunday. Of course, we heard from the Titans head coach yesterday. He got irritated, shall we say, at one particular question, which led to a moment that thousands of people are watching online. And I can just say right now, Coach Vrabel's language, not for children. Just giving you that heads up if you want to go take a look over there. Other than that, we'll be right back with more Fox 17 News this morning.
Alerts empowers.
4:56 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Live look there across downtown Nashville, Tennessee. As you can see, we're doing just fine out there as far as your weather is concerned. Maybe some light fog depending on where you are, but it's cold. Certainly hope everything is warm and toasty where you are. It's 28 degrees outside, and it could be colder than that. You see Tullahoma over there at 21 degrees. Greg Bobus will have the latest on your forecast coming up in the next few minutes. Before we get to Greg, want to talk about something that's happening here, like the plot of Home Alone 2 playing out in real life. Frontier Airlines says that they accidentally flew a 16-year-old, not just anywhere, but to Puerto Rico. When he had the ticket booked for, wait for it, you ready? Cleveland, Ohio. So imagine getting on a plane thinking you're going to Cleveland and you end up in Puerto Rico. Now, this all happened at the same gate in Tampa back on December the 22nd. Ryan Luz says that his son Logan was very nervous flying alone for the very first time in order to see his mother. The teen says the gate worker checked his ticket but didn't scan it and told him that he was boarding the right flight. Well, he ended up in Puerto Rico until the airline could get him to Cleveland instead. Just wow. Just not just anywhere. Just you went to Puerto Rico? That's a bit different than ended up in Cleveland, I would think. Well, check this out. Passengers on a United Airlines flight were hoping to travel back in time for New Year's, but ended up in the wrong year. In order for passengers to technically travel back in time, UA Flight 200 was scheduled to leave Guam on January the 1st at 7:35 a.m. and then land in Honolulu, Hawaii back on December the 31st at 6:50 p.m. But the flight was delayed, leaving Guam and then landed in Honolulu at 12:34 a.m. on January 1st. So passengers missed the countdown. That kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? They left on January 1st and landed on January 1st. That's not why they paid their money. Playing games at the time, trying to play games at the time.
That'll throw you off. Quite frankly, that'll throw you off pretty quickly here. Taking a look at your screen. I don't typically show current temperature maps, but when it feels like it's 18 right now in Nashville, 21 in Murfreesboro, and 21 in Clarksville, that is a really cold start to kick off a Wednesday morning here in early January. Getting you up and out the door, what can you expect actual air temperature? We're going to stay in the 20s, 5 o'clock through 6 and 7 a.m. There's no break in the cold today, tomorrow, or the day after. So this is going to be kind of hunkering down, layering up, and maybe just trying to stay inside if you can and find whatever heat you can. So this is how we start the day. Little cloud cover, little fog, and some frost on some windshields to start off the day. As we go into our 5 o'clock half hour, we'll have a new look at future track. I've changed rain timing for the upcoming weekend, and then I put rain into the forecast for next week as well. That's all coming your way in a few minutes. Justin.
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you started on the north side. That's going to be 65 at I-24. As you can see, traffic moving along up there very nicely so far for you this morning. No major accidents to report north, south, east, or west. We're doing fine out there. Keep in mind, construction projects are starting to pick up yet again in several locations. That includes 65 up in the Robertson County area. Donaldson Pike undergoing large renovations over there near the airport. We're going to get into that a little bit later as your 5 o'clock hour starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A traumatic holiday weekend for one family after a bullet hit their car near Broadway. We'll tell you what city leaders are doing to make Broadway safer.
And fog and frost to kick off today. How long will stay this cold? And tracking a weekend weather maker in your forecast.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, we made it. Well, halfway through the work week. Good morning from all of us here at Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. Kicking off your Wednesday morning, here are the top 3 stories you'll want to know about before you walk out the door.
The national debt has hit a new record, more than $34 trillion. It's due to a number of factors, right? Including higher borrowing costs due to interest rates and lower tax receipts. Now, the actual impact of high debt is pretty debatable. Some experts believe it's a threat to the country's fiscal health, while other experts believe it's okay just as long as the economy remains strong. President Biden, though, blaming GOP tax cuts on this deficit, and Republicans say it's because Biden spent too much money. The benchmark also coming just as federal spending laws are set to expire in the next couple of weeks. That's if Congress fails to pass extensions. That means the government could then shut down.
We go to the border this morning, where authorities at the southern border with with Mexico have encountered a record number of migrants in the month of December. So we're just now getting the report from December, and this sets a record that dates back to 2000. The influx of people trying to come across the border, whether that's legally or illegally, comes as a lot of mayors of so-called sanctuary cities, places like New York, Chicago, Denver, are now trying to slow the flow of illegal immigrants coming to them from Texas, because Texas's governor, Greg Abbott, said, okay, you guys want to be sanctuary cities? We're going to send them to you. He put them on buses and sent them to those big sanctuary cities. Officials say many of these folks are coming from Central and South America, but also places like Cuba and Haiti. By the way, our own Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is breaking down the local impacts. We're going to hear from some of our local leaders coming up in about 10 minutes.
Also making headlines this Wednesday morning are the names of more than 170 people with ties to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They are expected to be revealed in court documents later this week, maybe today. The court filing is going to be released, all part of a settled civil lawsuit from one of Epstein's accusers. Epstein was found dead in his jail cell in downtown Manhattan. That was back in 2019. Local officials letting us know that he committed suicide as he faced sex trafficking charges, serious charges.
Here at home in Operation Crime and Justice, a family shaken up after a bullet hits their car over the holiday weekend while they were just driving along Broadway.
So now we're hearing from local officials about what's being done safety-wise. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joining us live downtown with more on what they have to say about this. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning, Erica and Jen. Children were actually sitting in the back seat when the bullet struck their car. I mean, can you imagine? They're down here for the Music City Bowl prep rally, and that's how their night went, and they were just inches away from the bullet hole. Now, this all went down Friday night again during the pep rally for the Music City Bowl on Broadway, and a Facebook post reads, "Jesus always goes with us." These were words written on a family's post after reliving the horrifying moments when the back window of their car was shot. Children were in the back seat. This before the big game between the Auburn University Tigers and the Maryland Terps. Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents downtown, says he's been in contact with police and there's no indication that the vehicle was actually shot from Broadway.
Did not get any calls for service on shots fired, nor did they see anything on the cameras, and the angle that the bullet hit the window leads them to believe it was a shot that might have been fired up in the air and a projectile that had landed and potentially from farther away.
Thankful no one was hurt. The Facebook post says this could have been a different story. Their children were screaming inside, and this window right there, right behind them, an occupied car seat. According to Metro Police stats, for violent offenses are down just 5%. And Coupin says that there's work being done on the back end to ensure safety for downtown for both people visiting, for tourists, and for people that live here in Nashville. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
5:05 our time. Taking a look at the forecast here, the big three things as we go through the rest of this week. Chilly days continue. On the right side of your screen, we're about 10 degrees colder than the same time yesterday. Patches of fog have settled in east of the Nashville area, and those will only get a little more dense as we go throughout this morning. I don't see the fog lifting across the board until about 10 o'clock. Taking a look here, much needed rain is ahead of us going into the weekend, Friday into Saturday. So here's what we're watching. Mainly overnight. So we're talking around 6 to 7 o'clock on Friday through the overnight, and then ending early on Saturday. A half of an inch to an inch of rain is possible, and even a little light snow can't be ruled out for the Cumberland Plateau. Keep that in mind if you're out in the upper elevations. 46 degrees. Your temperature for the afternoon, 45 tomorrow, 51 on Friday, and then mid to upper 40s on Saturday and Sunday. The best day of the forecast, Monday of next week at 55 and partly cloudy.
Greg, thank you so much. 5:06 is the time, and right now we're checking in on your Steer Clear traffic update to hopefully save you some time if you're heading back to work this Wednesday. Here's a live look at I-65 at the I-24 junction. We are not seeing any backups right here, right now. No slowdowns, giving you the green light. We also checked in over by the airport. There were no issues over there as well. We have so much more coming up after the break. Stay with us, and happy hump day. Welcome back. 5:08 is the time. And following weeks of backlash over her response to anti-Semitism on Harvard University's campus, the school's president has now resigned.
Here's Fox News' Caroline Shively sharing the latest here on this Wednesday morning.
Harvard President Claudine Gay called it quits Tuesday, resigning from her post just weeks after a congressional hearing where she failed to say promoting the genocide of Jews violated university policies.
Calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign.
Gay is the second Ivy League president to lose her job after that hearing. University of Pennsylvania head Elizabeth McGill resigned on December 9th. Both faced backlash following their responses to the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel.
Our Jewish American students felt so threatened and unsafe and unsupported by not just the leadership of these institutions, but by their boards.
And I hope that this day, January 2nd, moving onwards, can be a day where we can take into account the fact that learning matters, education matters, and taking a stand against hate and anti-Semitism also matters.
Some professors are questioning the process that led to Gay's resignation.
I think asking a president to resign because congressional leaders don't like their testimony, that's not something that I support.
Gay also faced accusations of plagiarism, which Harvard's governing board called a few instances of inadequate citation. In her resignation email, she wrote, "It has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am."
Gay plans to remain at Harvard as a member of the faculty. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Tracking our next weathermaker, moving us into the upcoming weekend. That is our next rain chance, and we really need it here. We've settled into a drought since August, and it has not let up. You might think, looking at this map, oh, the rain's coming sooner than later. It's not. This is going to stay down to our south and track right along the coast of the Gulf. So taking a look here, this is not going to be what we have to watch. The second round of rain that moves across this area, that will be our weather maker. Here is all of today into tomorrow and Friday, nothing. Now, if you have Friday evening plans, I've moved the rain timing up. Starting after 6, 7 o'clock, rain begins to move in, and it will track from southwest to the northeast overnight into the first half of your Saturday. A half of an inch to an inch of rain cannot be ruled out, but also we have another weather maker on Tuesday that will move in that will give us additional rain. So in the next 7 days, there's a good bet we see 1 to 3 inches worth of rain that come down. One of our more wet patterns that we've seen here over the course of the last month and a half to 2 months.
All right, Greg, we'll get ready for it. Thank you. And 511 steer clear traffic, getting you ready to head out the door here on this Wednesday. And looking good so far. This is a live look by the airport, I-40 at Donaldson Pike. No problems whatsoever. You're good if you have to head to the airport right now. And also that traffic coming in from east of Nashville, smooth sailing. Those headlights are folks coming in from places like Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Hermitage, and all clear right now on your steer clear map. So good morning to you and enjoy the ride.
After the break here on Fox 17 News, we're talking about health news. What doctors are saying could be a game changer for children facing cardiac issues.
Half off Christmas.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 5:14. An iPhone is getting the credit for getting first responders to a crash in Columbia, Tennessee, and it's thanks to Apple's iPhone crash notification.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have not, but I know there are other apps, like for example, we have Life 360 for our kids.
Yeah.
And that app will also give you crash detection.
All right, here's what happened. The Murray County Fire Department letting us know that when crews arrived, they found this, a car in a creek, and they found the driver of the car waiting along the road. Now, there's no word just yet on what exactly caused the crash, but Apple's crash detection was able to sense that a car was involved in a crash and then helped to connect emergency responders to this location.
Also working similar to OnStar.
Yes.
You know, if you've got that system in your car, similar technology there. All right, 5:15 right now. We have an update now to a story that we first brought you as breaking news yesterday. According to Metro Nashville Police, the victim of the Tuesday shooting off Nolensville Pike is an 18-year-old named William Silva.
Police say 2 young men in a black SUV dropped off Silva over at Southern Hills Medical Center around 1 o'clock in the morning. They then left. Police say Silva was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and died a short time later.
His family has started a GoFundMe page for funeral expenses. Right now, Fox 17 News with a consumer news alert. We're talking minimum wage here in 2024. 22 states now have a higher minimum wage.
Okay, so what does this mean? According to the National Employment Law Project, many businesses are at or above $15 an hour for 2024. That also includes about 40 cities, counties, I should say, across the U.S.
All right, so let's take a look here. A few states that now have a higher minimum wage would include Maryland. That's now up to $15 from $13.25. California is at $16, up from $15.50. And in Tukwila, Washington, wages are now up to $20.29. Their original minimum wage was $18.99.
Interesting.
Yeah, Tennessee and Kentucky, by the way, are not states included in minimum wage increases at the moment.
All right, talking about a new year, there is a New Jersey mom who gave birth to twins, but listen, she is going to be planning several birthday parties. That's because the twin boys were born on different days and technically different years.
What a story. These stories always fascinate me, by the way. So we're going to hear from Trish Hartman right now, who has more from the excited and surprised parents.
Eve and Billy Humphrey were caught off guard when they found out they were expecting twin boys.
The doctor was like, well, there's 2 heartbeats. And I was like, let me see. I don't believe you. And I was in shock.
They were due at the end of January, but Eve's water broke on New Year's Eve, which also happens to be Billy's birthday.
I'm like, what a great birthday gift. I get 2 boys on my birthday. So we came in early enough on that day that I was thinking, okay, maybe this is going to happen.
Baby A, Ezra, was born at 11:48 p.m. on New Year's Eve, weighing in at 6 pounds even.
Once he was born, thinking of the tax write-off, I was like, maybe we can get another tax write-off.
But little brother had other plans.
I was still pushing when everyone's doing the countdown, and we just said Happy New Year in the middle of me trying to push out baby B.
Ezekiel was born at 12:28 a.m. on New Year's Day, weighing 4 pounds 15 ounces. Twin brothers born on different days, different years.
I just know they're going to be world changers, and they couldn't share the same day, right? They needed their own spotlight.
Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, I was like, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy.
I love what the dad said. He said they're going to be world changers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So cute. I love those kind of stories.
Precious. It's fascinating. I've always wondered, if you grow up as a twin, but you're born right there at New Year's, like who gets bragging rights about being older or younger?
You know they're going to duke it out somehow, some way. Hey, on top of that being Dad's birthday, being on New Year's Eve, the twins also having different birthdays. They also have a big brother whose birthday is January 3rd.
Wow.
Oh, that's a busy mom. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, at least she gets it all over at once. Christmas, New Year's, birthday.
Just a lot
and then you're done.
Work.
It is a lot of work.
We're going to check in now with Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus because it's a little bit chilly outside, you could say.
That it definitely is. I parked outside last night and frost in the windshield.
Yes.
Starting off this morning.
Give yourself extra time.
Had to use the defrost. Yeah, give yourself a little extra time. That and also some fog out there. So kind of the 1-2. Cold and also foggy in some areas. Not freezing fog, just regular fog. We're not quite that cold, but this could be you. As you're walking out the door, give yourself that extra time. Right side of your screen, temperatures are in the 20s to start the morning, and they'll stay there all the way until around 9 o'clock this morning. Our code red threat level is in the all clear. We have much needed rain coming in this weekend. Late Friday into Saturday is our next weather maker. Between now and then, not much we have to contend with when it comes to any rain in our forecast. Look at this, though. These numbers continue to fall. 18 is what it feels like right now in Nashville, 17 in Clarksville, and 19 degrees if you get up near Hopkinsville. This is a cold start, and tomorrow morning and the morning after will both be just as cold as far as that feels like to your skin as you're out the door. So if you're a morning runner, that's the big story here this morning. Cloud cover going to increase throughout the morning into the afternoon. There'll be some showers down to our south to pull in all of that cloud cover for the rest of today. Precip chances for us do go up for the first half of the weekend. They die down just a touch here for Sunday into Monday, and then another batch moves in Tuesday. We're going to look at future track and time that out for you coming up in the next check of your forecast before we even get to 5:30.
Steer clear traffic out there this morning. Let's get to 65 and Trinity Lane. They're on the north side. As you can see, traffic moving along just fine. No big problems out there as you get towards Trinity Lane there, making your way in from Madison. Good morning, Madison, Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, and beyond. No problems out there this morning. We're not expecting a huge rush hour. Didn't have one yesterday. Not expecting a big one today. When school gets in next week, come back and see me. I'll have plenty more for you.
Justin, thank you so much. Health news now, because there is a major milestone in medicine which really could be a game changer for folks, children especially, with cardiac issues.
Yeah, according to a new study that's out in the JAMA Journal, the tissue that's used in a partial heart transplant in a 2022 surgery has now grown over time. Owen Monroe received the historic procedure when he was just 18 days old. At the time, his heart was roughly the size of a strawberry. Well, doctors now say he's 20 months old and he has a heart that's as big as like a plum.
Yeah.
About that size. So most importantly, doctors say, along with this being just groundbreaking, the new blood vessels and the heart valves have developed along with Owen, which researchers say could keep him from needing additional surgeries in the future.
Wow, so 12 other children have since received partial heart transplants. Oh, sending them all the love for that story right there.
Absolutely. How incredible.
Well, after the break, Justin McFarland has the very latest on plans for TBN Music City, okay, in Hendersonville. We're going to talk about all the changes after the break.
5:24 is the time here on this Wednesday morning. For years, some of you old timers out there will know about a place in Hendersonville called Twitty City. It was right there on Main Street or Gallatin Road or Nashville Highway for many years. It greeted country music fans with a huge mansion and a recording studio. Of course, it was home to Conway Twitty. After his death, it was turned over to the Trinity Broadcasting Network, and that is where it's been home to the Huckabee Theater, where the former Arkansas governor has done his TV show there for many years. But now the owners of the property are looking to change the entire look yet again. They would add 98 senior living apartments and an 80-unit nursing home there to the TBN Music family.
The idea of the plan itself is to create a very pedestrian-oriented neighborhood for seniors, and that the independent living villas are all situated around green open spaces and trail networks that could be used for pedestrians, cyclists, and maybe even golf carts that could circumnavigate around within the site itself.
Now, this would be very visible from Main Street there in Hendersonville, would still need the Hendersonville City Council's approval before it passed. We are still trying to find some renderings that we can share with you of this brand new development, but it would change the look of that side of Hendersonville for sure. We'll continue to follow it.
5:25, looking at your forecast, getting you ahead to the upcoming weekend. That is the next big chance for rain in the forecast. And we haven't had many big chances for rain in the last couple of weeks. Friday evening into the overnight, and then ending early on your Saturday. We've changed the timing, pulled it a little bit earlier to start and a little bit earlier to end. Drier by Sunday and warmer nights. This morning is cold. It feels like it's in the teens right now in Nashville. We'll be in the 30s for overnight time temperatures Saturday night into Sunday and Sunday night into Monday. Right side of your screen, your current temperature is going to keep scrolling all the way through 9 a.m. On bottom of your screen, we've got your headlines and your drive times. You're still using the headlights this morning too as well. How much rain could we see from that weather maker I just mentioned? Well, here we go. Here's future rain, an updated model run here in the last hour, and it shows us nothing today, tomorrow, or early Friday. It really is going to be Friday night into the first half of Saturday. A half of an inch to an inch of rain. The more toward the south and east we get, the better our chance to get closer to that 1 inch mark.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 5:26. This is a live look here at I-24 at Harding Place as you make that drive in and out of town. You can see how traffic is moving along there pretty well with no big problems so far for you this morning. Certainly great news as you make that drive in and around the Antioch area. We are not expecting huge waves of traffic here. 65 at Armory Drive there on the south side. Also looking good there so far for you this morning. If things change, we'll be sure to let you know.
A traumatic holiday weekend for one family after a bullet hit their car with children inside. What city leaders have to say coming up.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up to frosty windshields and patchy fog in some spots. We'll track it for you all the way through 9 coming up in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic this morning takes us to I-40 at Broadway. Looking nice out there. We're going to tell you about anything that could hold you up.
Also want to thank you for waking up with us here bright and early on a Wednesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We have breaking news right now. In fact, we want to get straight out to South Nashville, where Metro Police confirm a shooting has happened in the vicinity of the Nashville Zoo.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live out there from the scene with the very latest. And of course, we're mapping it out for you all right here.
Good morning. Well, police say it happened about an hour ago, but you can still see cop cars lined up behind me on Shasta Drive after police say one man was shot and taken to the hospital. They say the call came in around 4:30 in the morning after the man was shot in either the top of the foot or the ankle. They don't believe it was gang related, but they say that the victim was uncooperative and it might have been drug related. Police tell me that they are still investigating the circumstances surrounding this incident and the suspect is on the loose. We'll have more coming up for you later. Reporting live in South Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Okay, Karen, thank you. Also this morning in Operation Crime and Justice, there was a family who was shaken up after they say a bullet hit their car over the holiday weekend. They were here for the Music City Bowl.
Yeah, and Fox 17 News, Peyton Muse has had a chance to talk with folks surrounding this story. The family on Broadway for the pep rally for that Music City Bowl. Peyton, get us up to speed what you've been able to learn so far. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So imagine being on Broadway. You're here for the Music City Bowl prep rally, Auburn Tigers versus University of Maryland Terps, and a gunshot, a bullet literally hits your car while there's children inside. Now that's what this family went through, a traumatic experience for them, and that happened on Friday night. Now the family is working through the trauma of what they experienced. They're thankful no one was hurt, but this situation could have had a different ending. Metro Police say there was no indication that their vehicle was shot at on Broadway. Police believe the bullet hit the window and then hit the ground, and police believe the shot was fired in the air and came down, striking the victim's car.
The entertainment district is a unit is a big thing for the downtown core. They're a dedicated unit Thursday through Sunday that, to even that Facebook post, there was a quick response of officers to this situation that were there and ready to respond.
Now that was Jacob Coupin, a Metro Council member, and the Entertainment District Unit is the dedicated officers that focus on the downtown core. And Coupin says overall Nashville is a safe city, and it's unfortunate that this happened. Overall, according to Metro Police data, crime is down just over 5%. And Coupin says along with the mayor of nightlife, they have been walking through the streets here surrounding the downtown area and downtown, trying to figure out which pockets have any dark spots where they're seeing a lot of crime, and they are tackling this issue. And crime is a situation that Nashville leaders take very seriously. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. By the way, you can always get more local reporting just like this delivered right to your inbox every single morning by signing up for our free Fox 17 News daily newsletter. You can sign up by heading on over to our homepage. We're showing you it right here on the screen. Again, go to fox17.com to make that happen.
And at 5:33 right now, I'm going to check in with Greg to get that forecast for your Wednesday hump day activities. Whatever you've got going on, Greg, how's the weather shaping up?
Cold to start off the morning, and also this is beginning to creep in east of the Nashville area, some areas of patchy fog. We have no advisories out this morning, so it's not terribly dense, but it could slow you down, so watch out for anybody who might be jogging this morning or just have an early start out on the roadways. Taking a look, not a crystal clear sky here over downtown, so little indications of some fog that has started to develop. This is the bigger story. Look at that, an 18-degree wind chill right now in Nashville, 17 in Clarksville, 20 in Murfreesboro, and 21 in Lebanon. one of our colder starts, and we've got 2 more of them dialed up for tomorrow and also on Friday morning before warmer air finally makes its way back here. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast, because we have this stagnant weather pattern for right now of the middle 40s today and tomorrow. Nighttime temperatures in the 20s. The weekend is the next weather maker, Friday into Saturday. A good chance for up to an inch of rainfall in some spots. Best day of the next 7 is going to be on Monday. We'll take a look, though, at how much rain we'll see when you put together what we get Friday and Saturday with what we'll also get on Tuesday of next week, some potential totals.
Clear, clear traffic this morning. Let's take you over to I-40 at Broadway. That is where we are, wide open and looking clean out there with your traffic so far this morning. No big problems to tell you about in either direction here as you get out and about on Broadway. A lot of our friends and family who've come to visit for the holidays are saying bye-bye. They're going home. We're going to check in near the airport coming up in the next few minutes. But clean drive times as a lot of students have not yet gone back to class.
Justin, thank you. At 5:35 right now, could a dry January have positive impacts even months later? We're going to take a look at what health experts have to say about it here on your Wednesday morning.
The nonsense.
Welcome back. 5:38 is the time here on Fox 17 News this Wednesday morning. Want to let you know the Murfreesboro Police Department has identified the victim of a deadly crash from over the weekend. Now, this crash was over on Lebanon Pike, right near Cherry Lane. This was back on Friday, December 29th. According to the Murfreesboro Police Department, 18-year-old Mason Rowland was found unresponsive in this SUV, again, right behind me on the screen. Crews having to use the jaws of life to free Rowland from that vehicle, but sadly, police say the teenager died at the scene.
5:38 your time right now. Right side of your screen, we have dipped all the way down into the 20s to start this morning. And this is a look at our visibility tracker. I watch it every day, but when nothing's on it, we don't show it. However, this is indicating that there are some areas of some thicker fog as we're starting off this Wednesday morning. So keep that in mind, and you're going to have some frost on a few windshields out there as well. So going into the weekend, I've been mentioning rain possible. What is more likely, rain or snow? Well, the confidence level is very high that we're going to have rain Friday night into early Saturday. However, if you're waking up in the Cumberland Plateau right now, you know we're the higher elevations. Temperatures will stay colder longer as this moves in. You could see a few light snowflakes, but generally speaking, it's going to be about 1/2 of an inch to an inch of rain that comes down that first half of the weekend, and then we'll put together another 1 to 2 inches of rain on Tuesday. So by the end of the next 7 days, 3 inches of rain possible in the forecast, and that's good because we're in a drought. We'll see how far into the drought we have made it and how much it's gotten worse since it started back in August.
Clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get over to I-24 near Briley Parkway. You can see the traffic there moving along without issue. We're doing great out there so far this morning. I've just checked our list. We're doing fine out there. So if you're driving in from Hendersonville, we're doing good. Same thing for Murfreesboro on that drive. Coming in from Lebanon, you're very smooth out there this morning. We are not expecting a huge influx of traffic, but we'll be here to watch it for you. We're live and local with you through 9.
Justin, thank you. 5:40 is the time right now. We have some health news here for you, and we're talking about dry January. If you've ever heard this and wondered, okay, what's it all about? Well, for starters, it is probably going to improve your overall health years perhaps from now. There's a new study that claims people who take part in dry January, which essentially is no alcohol for the month of January, those people reaped the benefits for at least 6 months down the line. The Hazelden Betty Ford Chicago Center managers there say that the benefits of a dry January have been found to lead to overall recovery from alcohol dependency and drinking habits, which can then lead to an overall change in lifestyle and more better choices. And people can feel the positive impacts of a dry January even just a couple of days into the month, and can experience better sleep, more overall energy, improvements in how they smell things. Drinking too much alcohol can impact your sense of smell, and it can impact your taste buds. So after a month of not drinking, all of those doctors and experts say improved sense of smell and taste are just a couple more benefits.
Wow. Jen, thank you. Hey, the holiday travel season is wrapping up, so we're going to tell you what TSA and B&A crews say about the big numbers for the holidays. Stay with us and happy Wednesday.
Good morning to you. It's 5:45, a busy holiday weekend at airports across the country. If you flew, you know this, but for those of you who might have been hanging tough at home, we're going to give you the newest numbers out this morning just to show you how many people took to the skies. Here we go. TSA checkpoints showing more than 2.6 million people went through those checkpoints just on the Friday before New Year's Eve. That number, 2.5 million Saturday and 2.1 million Sunday. So how does it break down locally for us? Well, we've got the numbers now from B&A as well. Between December 17th and January 1st, the checkpoint reached more than 406,000 people. During the equivalent days of the week in 2022, we were at 354,000, so a huge increase year over year for Nashville International Airport. The busiest days this year turned out to be the Sunday before Christmas weekend, so a week in advance pretty much, followed by the Tuesday and Wednesday after Christmas. There were no record-breaking days on those particular days, but year over year, an increase of more than 50,000 people going through B&A.
Goodness gracious. And hey, we're sticking with traffic here. Demand for gasoline in the U.S. plummeting by double digits over the last week. Now, according to Gas Buddy, take a look on your screen, U.S. gasoline demand falling 12% last week during the busy holiday season. The nation's average price of gas falling nearly 2 cents from a week ago to $3.06. By the way, if you would like to find the cheapest gas closest to you, go to Fox 17's fuel gauge over on fox17.com.
Yeah, that's a great resource. You can know before you go, kind of make your trip plans accordingly. Throughout 2023, artificial intelligence was all over the headlines. We talk about it a lot here on the morning show. And artificial intelligence has proven it can write essays, it can create images, can communicate with robots, and the excitement, or in a lot of cases, the horror, isn't expected to end there. Where is it going next? Technology experts are now analyzing where AI and humanoid robot developments could be heading in 2024. Mind you, this comes after reports at the Tesla factory in Austin that a robot malfunctioned there and it injured a human worker. Okay. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky taking a closer look.
Developments in artificial intelligence and robot software took 2023 by storm. And throughout the new year, technology experts say these innovations are only expected to improve, especially when it comes to the accuracy of the responses AI programs generate. Brendan Englot of the Stevens Institute of Technology believes there will also be a greater push to advance the language skills of robots using AI.
I think in 2024, we're really going to see that evolving, and we're going to see increasing robotics capabilities that involve human language and conversational instructions provided by human operators.
As well as refine a robot's coordination and ability to perform more complex tasks.
Does AI allow robots to walk or manipulate or move with more dexterity or agility? That is kind of a frontier we have not fully conquered yet. I would say that lies ahead for 2024.
Engineering company Apptronik is currently working on its Apollo robot. The humanoid is designed to move boxes and stack supplies for large retailers and manufacturers. Given a recent report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which finds there are millions of open jobs and not enough unemployed people to fill them, officials say it's critical robot technology forges on this year to help fill worker gaps in warehouses and factories.
Especially with the infrastructure bills that the U.S. is pushing forwards over the next couple of years, the demand for blue-collar labor is going to do nothing but increase over time.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Robots. Okay. No robots here. If Max Headroom becomes reality, we're done. Does anybody remember Max Headroom? No?
I don't. That's why I'm quiet.
No.
I'll Google
This is 2 days in a row. You guys are killing me. Justin's got my back again. Okay. All right. We'll talk about it during the break. You'll see what I mean.
I feel like I just defeated you on a
No, I am not
Wednesday morning.
defeated. No, I'm not defeated. But I'll tell y'all all about Max Headroom during the commercial break.
Do you have to?
And
I mean,
Justin, we have to teach them.
why do you have to
I'm
bring
looking. We
it
have
up?
to educate them.
I
Justin,
thought we were done with that.
I moved on from Fang Fingers, y'all.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. You never know what you're going to
We're
get with
family
us
around here.
when you
We'll
wake
powwow
up.
later.
Thank you for joining us. Taking a look here, 25 degrees. It is cold. Make sure you have the big, heavy jacket on when you head out the door later. I truly don't have any idea what she was talking about, so I'm kind of excited for the commercial break. Taking a look here, 25 degrees is the actual air temperature. We feel like 18 right now in Nashville if you factor in the wind and the wind chill. So this is definitely a hot cup of coffee kind of a morning getting out the door. And we're going to be using the heaters and maybe even having to use the defrost this morning for the windshields. Sunrise, not until 6:58, so still over an hour from right now when it comes to getting those first rays of daylight, and they're not going to help us out all that much. Only up to 46 degrees later on this afternoon, 45 tomorrow, and then 51 on Friday. That's a good day, but then rain moves in late Friday into Saturday. If you've got Friday evening plans, you have to stick around because we'll look at Future Track. I've changed the timeline of when the rain moves in and when it moves out for your Saturday.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Quick look out there. Let's take a look at I-40 at Dawson Pike. As you make that drive out there this morning, you can see it for yourself. We are doing okay as you get out there towards the airport. No big problems out there so far for you this morning. We can see backups near the airport here, of course, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Mondays mainly. But we have seen a bit of a pop yesterday. We also saw a lot of traffic inside the airport with several reports of long lines. Have not seen that this morning as I've been checking online to make sure that the lines haven't gotten ridiculous. So far, looks like you're in good shape if you've got that early morning flight.
Justin, thank you. Talking about our economy now, it's 2024, which means senior citizens will now be seeing a slight increase to their Social Security benefits.
The Social Security Administration announcing earlier in the fall that those folks would be getting an annual cost of living adjustment of 3.2% starting this month. And if you're trying to do the math here, that comes out to an average of about $50 extra per month.
All right, so this is the third year in a row for a bump in payments as the result of inflation, but it is a much smaller increase compared to the past 2 years, but any amount of money, I think folks will take it.
5:52 is the time right now. We have a live look this morning from Nashville. Bridgestone Arena, front and center, where the Preds beat the Blackhawks last night in a shutout, 3-0. Looking ahead to tomorrow, another home match for the Preds as they host the Calgary Flames at 7.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
All right, parents, listen to this story because I want your perspective. Some say it's like a plot from Home Alone 2 playing out in real life. Frontier Airlines say that a 16-year-old accidentally flew to Puerto Rico when he had a ticket for Cleveland.
16 years old, okay? The airline, Frontier, says that the flight for Cleveland and the flight for Puerto Rico were departing at the same time from the same gate in Tampa right before Christmas. Ryan Lose says that his son, Logan, was nervous flying alone for the first time at 16. He was going to visit his mom. The teenager says a gate worker checked his ticket, but claims they didn't scan it and claims the gate worker told him he was getting on the right flight.
So that's how he ended up getting on the Caribbean island, Puerto Rico, until the airline could get him to the right location. And my question is, was he just not listening at all?
Right.
I have more questions.
We both had a lot of questions, and being a parent to teenagers who have flown alone.
Because when you get on the plane, they do say where we're heading.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if a gate worker made the mistake and put him on the wrong plane, okay, well that's on the gate worker. But also, they've got everything marked, right? Like Puerto
I'm just
Rico,
saying, pay attention.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Scan the ticket. They always say too when you get on the plane.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you for joining us for the flight. Your flight to Puerto Rico is.
Bingo. That's when you say, hey, I don't think I'm on the right flight.
Wait, hold on.
Personally, I never.
Do you feel like there should have been maybe some accountability On the part of the 16-year-old, maybe?
I think the teenager perhaps wanted to go to Puerto Rico and said, this might go viral.
Puerto Rico thought, maybe I'm going to have a little bit of fun here.
Let's check in now with Greg. I'm really curious, Greg. What do you think about this?
We may never know.
Maybe the 16-year-old didn't like his family.
Maybe he was saying, I'm out of here.
It's like, Cleveland, Puerto Rico.
Yeah. We may never know. Hey, by the way, Greg, you want to give an update on max headroom?
If we have to, because now I'm terrified and won't sleep tonight. But yes.
We're all on the same page with max headroom per our last conversation.
And if you don't know what it is and you don't want to be slightly creeped out, don't look it up. But if you're interested,
also be thankful we're all real people and not robots.
Especially that one. Take a look here. All the red areas are still in a drought here to start off the brand new year. And now we'll get a new update to this map tomorrow, but that's before more additional rain moves in. So it likely will look a little worse before it gets better. We see some green on the radar down to our south. Here we are. Here it is. It will go directly to the east and it will miss us. Our next chance for rain is not going to be until Friday, late in the day into early Saturday. Here's future track for the rest of today, tomorrow, and most of Friday. Then we get into 6, 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday. Overnight into the first half of Saturday, that's our best chance for some rain. As we go into our 6 o'clock half hour, we'll take a look at how much we may end up seeing and then help you plan your weekend. We'll find the more dry hours as we go into the next half hour.
Clear traffic this morning at 5:58. Quick look out here for your traffic at I-40 at Dallas and Pike. As you make that drive towards the airport, you're doing fine out there this morning. No big problems holding you up there. Let's take a look downtown. This is I-40 near Church Street over on the West Loop. We're doing just fine as more and more buildings pop up all the time over here. You're just driving by going, what is this thing? When did that get there? As you make your way in, traffic, though, is doing fine so far over there this morning.
All right, Justin, thank you so much. There's a new report out this Wednesday morning that ranks the top on-time airlines. We were just talking about the issues on that Frontier flight, but aviation analytics from Cirium shows that Delta Airlines was the most on-time North American carrier for the third year in a row. Delta reportedly arrived within 15 minutes of their scheduled gate arrivals, 84.7% of the time.
All right, the report also stating that Alaska Airlines came in second with 82.25% of flights arriving on time. Cirium says carriers around the world scheduled 32 million flights last year. First Americans, though, or First Airlines, I would say. We're just showing you the airlines, I should say, right here on the top of your screen.
Quickly approaching 6 o'clock right now. We're going to take a moment to head over to the website, just see what's trending this morning. In other words, what are you most interested in reading? The #1 trending story is the Vols' big win at the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. You can read more about that and the future predictions for the University of Tennessee football program anytime at fox17.com.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A traumatic holiday weekend for one family after a bullet struck their car with kids inside. We'll tell you what city leaders have to say next.
Coming up, here are details about a shooting that happened early this morning in South Nashville.
Frost and fog to start off today, when both of those will go away in toward the afternoon, and then we're tracking rain for your weekend.
And clear traffic over on the west side, 40 at Charlotte Pike, doing fine so far. We'll tell you when things could change.
And we want to start by thanking you for waking up with us here on a Wednesday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. And we bring you breaking news this hour. Metro Police showing up to a neighborhood not far from the Nashville Zoo after a shooting this morning.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us out there with the latest. We're mapping it out for the screen. But Karen, give us some more detail about where you are exactly.
Right. Good morning, Erica and Jen. Police say that it happened here on Shasta Drive near Welch Road. And even though it's been a little bit more than an hour now, you can see that cop cars are lined up down the street, still investigating. We don't know exactly where on the street the shooting happened, but what we do know is that police tell me that a man was shot either on the top of his foot or on his ankle. One of the sergeants that I spoke with on scene tells me that they're not sure if it was gang-related or not, but they do believe it could be drug-related. They say that when the call came in around 4:30 this morning, the victim was uncooperative. Now, just for some perspective, Metro Police stats say that in the last week in this area, there have been 8 cases of aggravated assaults. Now, I spoke with some people who were just in their car getting ready to go to work who tell me that they're tired of seeing this happen, or they're basically shocked. Now, as for the suspect, the sergeant that I spoke with on scene here tells me they're still on the loose. Reporting live in South Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Right now in Operation Crime Justice, there is a family that says they are really shaken up after a bullet hit their car. It happened over the busy holiday weekend.
You hate to hear this, especially when you know that these are folks coming to Nashville just to have a good time with their family, and they leave with this kind of experience. It also speaks, though, to the crime problem that we've been documenting in downtown Nashville. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joining us live right now with more on what happened and what city leaders have to say about it. Good morning.
Good morning, Erica and Jen. A horrific situation for this family. Children were actually sitting in the back seat when the bullet hit their car. The children screaming, obviously very traumatized from the entire situation, and they were just inches away from where the bullet hit. Now, this all went down during the Music City Bowl pep rally Friday night. Auburn Tigers versus University of Maryland Terps played on Saturday, and the Facebook post reads, "Jesus always goes with us." This family posted this after reliving the horrifying moments when the back window of their car was shot. Children were in the back seat, and this is just before the big game between Auburn University Tigers and the Maryland Terps. Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents downtown, says he's been in contact with police, and there is no indication that the vehicle was actually shot from Broadway.
Did not get any calls for service on shots fired. Nor did they see anything on the cameras, and the angle that the bullet hit the window leads them to believe it was a shot that might have been fired up in the air and a projectile that had landed and potentially from farther away.
Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the Facebook post says that this could have been a different story. Their children very shooken up from this whole situation, and the window right behind the occupied car seat clearly shattered. Now, according to Metro Police, stats for violent crimes are actually down just 5% compared to this time last year. And Coupin says that there's work being done on the back end to ensure safety downtown. As he says, downtown Nashville and Broadway, it is fairly safe. So this incident, we're still learning more about that. And as soon as we get more information, we'll be sure to bring that to you guys. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. 6:04 is the time. Checking in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus. Good morning.
Good morning. Cold morning. Here's a look at your wind chill to kick off the day. And we've been bouncing around in the upper teens and low 20s for how we feel in the Nashville area the last 4 or 5 hours. And that will continue all the way through at 9 o'clock this morning. Sun doesn't come up for the 45 minutes. And until we have at least a good hour or two of sun, we're not going to see temperatures budge that much. You'll see what I mean getting you out the door here on your Wednesday. 29 degrees at 7 o'clock. We don't break the 30-degree mark until after 8 o'clock, going into 9 o'clock this morning. You will see clouds on the increase throughout today as well. That's just because there's a system to our south that's not going to impact us when it comes to rain. The only area that could see the most isolated of rain showers would be right along the Alabama state line. 46 degrees this afternoon, 45 tomorrow. Cold nights continue, 20s overnight tonight and also tomorrow night, 51 on Friday. Look at your weekend. Still rain chances there on Saturday. Timeline has changed. It's going to move in earlier on Friday, late in the day, and move out earlier on Saturday. The newest timeline you're waking up to here coming up in the next check of your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning takes us over to the Antioch area. This is going to be I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. We're looking smooth coming in from Antioch here this morning. You may run into a little bit of a congestion, a little bit of a bump. I'm seeing it showing up on some of our traffic maps. I'm not seeing it on our cameras, but it wouldn't be the total surprise if you ran into just a brake check here and there as you make your way across, especially once you get towards places like Haywood Lane and Harding Places. More and more people wake up and get onto the roads from there, but no major slowdowns happening out there this morning so far. We'll continue to watch the roads for you.
Justin, thank you. Coming up, the December 9th tornado may have damaged a legendary Tennessee mansion beyond repair. So Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland is going to tell us about what happened to the former home of Conway Twitty. Stay with us.
Middle Tennessee.
6:09 is the time. The damage done from the December the 9th tornado may be causing a lot of homes and businesses to totally rebuild from the ground up. But one famous home in Hendersonville may not survive, and we're talking about the former mansion of the legendary country music star Conway Twitty. It was hit very hard, according to the Trinity Broadcasting Network officials who own the property now. They are looking to add a brand new TV studio and a nursing home to the property, but city officials were asking them if they could possibly save the mansion after storms hit it very hard. This was their response.
We're at the position where we have to make hard decisions about repairing and restoring things. And unfortunately, and it's a public fact, TBN was highly underinsured on that site. So now we're at a position, if we're going to start putting money into fixing old things, then the new things aren't coming.
Well, the Conway Twitty Mansion was once the centerpiece to an attraction in Hendersonville called Twitty City. It was built back in 1982 with a price tag of around $3.5 million. Tours were given of the mansion until 2016. No final decision has been made as of yet. This was the very first time anyone has heard that the mansion could possibly be torn down. Now, coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, Fox 17 has been able to get pictures up above Twitty City, or Trinity Broadcasting Network Music City now, to show you some of the damage done there, and it is rather extensive. We're going to share that with you coming up here in our 7 o'clock hour.
And here we are at 6:11, looking at your forecast. I mentioned frosty windshields this morning. Until the sun comes up, that will be most of us that are parked outside. I've got visibility tracker pulled up here. I want to zoom in on this for you, just show you the one area where we're still seeing a little bit of that fog that has not let up. It's not terribly dense. We don't have any advisories, but you get out toward Watertown, just to the east of Lebanon, even maybe through Lebanon itself as well. Carthage, Hartsville, and then just splitting Lebanon and Cookeville is the area where we're seeing most of our fog this morning. There's a little bit of it, you'll notice, in the metro, but not nearly as dense as what we're seeing off to the east of Nashville itself. Maybe you're an outdoor runner, or you have anybody else maybe in your household that's an outdoor runner. Have them be careful when you head out, and when you're on the roadway, be careful as well. Low beams in the fog, 29 degrees at 7 o'clock, 31 at 8 a.m., 37 by 10 o'clock. Increasing cloud cover. You'll see as the sunrise comes up on our sky cameras, there'll be more clouds than sun throughout most of this morning and afternoon. Coming up in the next check of your forecast, a few things coming your way. We'll look at future track, we'll look at future rainfall totals, and we'll check back in on your 7-day forecast.
Steer clear traffic this morning takes us over to the east side. This is going to be I-40 at Spence Lane. We do have one vehicle over there pulled over to the shoulder of the road. It's right there as you make your way out of town. You can see it, not causing big delays at all. We're doing fine so far as you make your way again from the east side. Other areas we're watching include 24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway, close to the Tanger outlets. We're also doing fine over there as well. No big issues so far on the roads, but things can change like that. Well, coming up in health news, we're going to tell you what doctors are saying could be a game changer for children with cardiac issues. We'll be right back.
Fox 17 News.
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, just about 6:15, and we have an update to a story that we first brought you as breaking news yesterday morning. According to Metro Police, the victim of a shooting Tuesday just off Nolensville Pike turned out to be an 18-year-old named William Silva.
Well, police telling us that two young men in a black SUV dropped off Silva over at Southern Hills Medical Center around 1 o'clock in the morning. Then they left. Police say Silva was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and died a short time later. His family, though, has started a GoFundMe page for funeral expenses for Silva. For more updates for that story, go to fox17.com.
And we have an iPhone that's getting the credit now for getting first responders to a crash in Columbia, Tennessee, thanks to the iPhone crash notification on that.
Yeah, a lot of folks say that they've tried this before.
Yeah, so
when it comes to running and being out and having a situation where they got hurt.
Right, and whether it's the iPhone itself or another app that can do the same thing, definitely a lifesaver here.
The Murray County Fire Department says that when crews arrived, they found this car on your screen, look here, in a creek, and the driver out of the car waiting along the road. That's the bit of positive news for that story. There's no word, though, on what caused this crash. Apple's crash detection, by the way, is able to sense a severe car crash, and then it helps connect emergency responders to the exact location.
As we are now into 2024, a lot of changes have been happening states across the country, one of those being the minimum wage. We have a National Employment Law Project that has new results of their studies showing that a lot of businesses nationwide are now at or above $15 an hour for minimum wage this year. We're going to take a look at some of those that are currently making headlines.
Yeah, so here are a few states that now have a higher minimum wage. Maryland is up to $15 from $13.25. California is up at $16 from $15.50. And then over in the town of Tukwila, Washington, wages are now up to $20.29. That's up from $18.99.
By the way, in case you're wondering, what's the name of that place in Washington? Erica just said.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay.
It's near Seattle,
Yes.
which would explain why it's so high. Okay, this is not in some teeny tiny little town in a corner of remote, Pacific Northwest. This is in the Seattle area. By the way, Tennessee and Kentucky not experiencing a minimum wage increase, at least not right now.
Well, a New Jersey mom giving birth to twins, but she's going to be planning separate birthday parties. That's because the twin boys were born on different days and really different years.
I think this is just such a unique family situation and a really fascinating way to start the year, right? Trish Hartman with more from the excited and surprised parents.
Eve and Billy Humphrey were caught off guard when they found out they were expecting twin boys.
The doctor was like, well, there's 2 heartbeats. And I was like, let me see. I don't believe you. And I was in shock.
They were due at the end of January, but Eve's water broke on New Year's Eve, which also happens to be Billy's birthday.
I'm like, what a great birthday gift. I get 2 boys on my birthday. So we came in early enough on that day that I was thinking, okay, maybe this is going to happen.
Baby A, Ezra, was born at 11:48 p.m. on New Year's Eve, weighing in at 6 pounds even.
Once he was born, thinking of the tax write-off, I was like, maybe we can get another tax write-off.
But little brother had other plans.
I was still pushing when everyone's doing the countdown, and we just said Happy New Year in the middle of me trying to push out baby B.
Ezekiel was born at 12:28 a.m. on New Year's Day, weighing 4 pounds 15 ounces. Twin brothers born on different days, different years.
I just know they're going to be world changers, and they couldn't share the same day, right? They needed their own spotlight.
Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, I was like, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy.
What a story.
Well, on top of Dad's birthday being on New Year's Eve and the twins having, yes, different birthdays, get this, they also have a big brother whose birthday is January 3rd.
What I always wonder about these scenarios is, do you have 2 separate birthday parties, or do you make them combined into one?
I'm going to say I'm saving money, and we're combining everything.
But then do the kids feel like they got the shaft?
But if we start that early on, they'll never know the difference.
They'll know.
We got to think. What? Well, you're the pro. You have 2 older ones, so I'm going to take your advice.
I never got my own birthday party growing up. He came first. I never got anything. You know how kids are.
Unfortunately.
You're learning.
It just sounds expensive.
Oh, right. Well, that's what Erica was saying.
Any way you look at it, whether it's one party, 2 or 3.
They have Christmas. They have New Year's.
It just keeps adding up.
Dad birthday, first twin, second twin, third baby. All within, what,
Bankruptcy.
two weeks?
and then bankruptcy.
But what a blessing. What a blessing, you know?
It truly is.
Yeah.
Taking a look. Time right now is 6:19, and we feel like we're about 19 degrees outside. Yeah, so if you're walking the dog this morning, it might be a very quick in and out situation to begin your day. 40 degrees by 11 o'clock, 44 at 1 p.m. Yeah, we feel like we're in the teens and low 20s. Right side of your screen are the current temperatures, but there is a little breeze that is keeping it on the colder side than what you even see on your screen. Friday into Saturday is our first event. We have two events, two weather makers moving in here in the next 7 days. That one, pretty low impact. We'll have some rain that moves in after dinner time on Friday, hangs around overnight, and then ends the first half of Saturday. And then Tuesday's the bigger one here, 1 to 2 inches of rain. We'll combine those rainfall totals from both events coming up in the next check of your forecast.
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get to I-24 Bradley Parkway. We have picked up a crash as you make your way down from the Whites Creek area, Jolton. All of you, you may run into a little something there as you get towards I-24 near Briley. Not causing major delays, just something to kind of just give you a heads up as you make your way down. Looks like the tow trucks may already be there to get whatever it is out of the way. So not causing, again, major delays, at least not yet. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, let you know about anything else that could get in your way.
Justin, thank you. A major milestone in medicine, which could be a game changer, especially for babies who have heart complications.
According to a study published Tuesday in the JAMA Journal, the tissue used in a partial heart transplant in a 2022 surgery has grown over time. Okay, so meet Owen Monroe, who received the historic procedure when he was just 18 days old. And at that time, his heart was roughly the size of think a strawberry. Doctors say the now 20-month-old, though, has a heart that's as big as an apricot. So it's working. Most importantly, though, the new blood vessels and valves have developed along with Owen, which researchers say could prevent Owen from needing additional surgeries in the future.
Look at that smiling face. By the way, 12 other children have since received partial heart transplants with this type of success. So that is just really encouraging.
Right now, we're showing you a live look over at Nissan Stadium at 622. Hey, this is where Titans are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. It's a noon kickoff. Are you excited? Are you ready for the season to be over? Okay. Stay positive. Stay positive.
Come back to us.
Beautiful sunrise. 6:24 is the time. We do have a breaking news update because Fox 17 News, we are continuing to follow some breaking news out of this area. This is South Nashville. That is where our crews were out there speaking with officers about a shots fired call in the 4900 block of Shasta Drive. Metro Police telling us a man was shot in the top of the ankle and then taken to the hospital. So right now we're making some more calls, trying to get some more information for you, but we can tell you no arrests have been made. If you would like to read this story again, get some more details, go to fox17.com. We're also sharing updates over on our X page, formerly known as Twitter. Go to Fox Nashville for those updates.
All right, Erica, thanks. And right now we have what we like to call the Cliff Notes version of your forecast. Greg left us a couple of notes so we can give you the weekend outlook pretty quickly here before you get out the door. Looking rainy for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday both with a chance for rain. Saturday looking to be the wetter of the 2 days.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is that system that's going to move in Friday night into Saturday and have the potential for some snow.
Yes.
Places like Southern Kentucky, the Plateau.
But it should all be gone for those of you going to the Titans finale coming up on Sunday over at Nissan Stadium, a high of 48 with a stray shower, but nothing like what we're expecting on Saturday. We'll steer clear traffic. We're continuing to follow that drive coming down from the Whites Creek and Jolton area. Our only problem of the morning so far is here, 24 at Bradley Parkway. It would seem we've got a tow truck already in place, preparing to take away whatever it is that happened in this area. Just a brake check as you make your way down. Nothing serious as far as the slowdown is concerned. We'll continue to watch things for you.
All right, good news there, Justin. And following weeks of backlash over her response to anti-Semitism on Harvard University's campus, that school's president has now resigned.
Yeah, Fox News' Caroline Shelbyville takes a look at some of the details.
Harvard President Claudine Gay called it quits Tuesday, resigning from her post just weeks after a congressional hearing where she failed to say promoting the genocide of Jews violated university policies.
Calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign.
Gay is the second Ivy League president to lose her job after that hearing. University of Pennsylvania head Elizabeth McGill resigned on December 9th. Both faced backlash following their responses to the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel.
Our Jewish American students felt so threatened and unsafe and unsupported by not just the leadership of these institutions, but by their boards.
And I hope that this day, January 2nd, moving onwards, can be a day where we can take into account the fact that learning matters, education matters, and taking a stand against hate and anti-Semitism also matters.
Some professors are questioning the process that led to Gay's resignation.
I think asking a president to resign because congressional leaders don't like their testimony, that's not something that I support.
Gay also faced accusations of plagiarism, which Harvard's governing board called a few instances of inadequate citation. In her resignation email, she wrote, "It has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am."
Gay plans to remain at Harvard as a member of the faculty. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Caroline, thank you very much. Time right now is 6:28 and a gorgeous live look at the sunrise over Music City. Oh my goodness.
I just said it's almost as beautiful as Jen.
Oh, quit it. And we can, you know what we can see here, Erica? We can see those crepuscular rays.
I'm not even going to try to say that.
Shooting up through the clouds. It's a gorgeous start. It's cold though. Stick with us. Our 6:30 half hour starts in moments.
Crepusculous.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A traumatic holiday weekend for one family after bullets hit their car with children inside. We'll tell you what city leaders are doing to keep downtown Nashville safe.
Peyton, thank you. Plus 2 different live looks to kick off your Wednesday morning. An absolutely spectacular sunrise on tap here for your Wednesday. We've got updates to your forecast and those changes that are on the way as we get closer to the weekend.
Circular traffic out there this morning. We've got a bit of a crash at 24 Bradley Parkway coming down from Whites Creek. We'll tell you the best way to steer clear if you need to.
And we want to thank you for waking up with us here bright and early on a Wednesday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news team here for you through 9 a.m.
Well, as the legislative session is about to begin, there are some questions when it comes to immigration policies here in Nashville that still linger.
Yeah, we have hundreds of thousands of immigrants continuing to cross the border, so many of them illegally. We have local leaders speaking out about the impact here in the mid-state. Our Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live this morning after talking with our local leaders.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. The Biden administration just announced that they plan to reopen border crossings. Now, this comes as reports say that border officials are on track to process over 300,000 migrants in the month of December, possibly the highest amount on record, which could mean more migrants will spill into the U.S. and head to different cities, including right here in Nashville. We know that migrants come here weekly seeking refuge or resources. I spoke to our local leaders who are preparing for the conversation of immigration policy in Tennessee for this upcoming legislative session. Democratic Representative Afton Bain tells us what we should be focused on.
What we really need to be focused on are kitchen table issues. I think people get anxious when they're concerned about their future, when they can't pay their light bills, when they're having trouble putting food on the table. And instead, let's address the material conditions of Tennesseans to improve their daily lives.
Fox 17 received a statement from House Majority Leader William Lamberth. He's a Republican. He says, quote, "These disastrous open border policies and their consequences are affecting every state, including Tennessee," end quote. We'll have more coming up for you in the next half hour. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
6:33 is the time, and now we're going to check in with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus, because it is chilly outside. Oof.
It definitely is. I just popped outside right now because there were some cars that have been here overnight. And they're just covered with some frost this morning. So if you parked outside, you may have to be using the defrost, maybe even doing a little chipping and a little bit of ice on the front and back windshields. Patches of fog this morning. They're not that prevalent in the metro area, but if you get out east of Nashville, the best chance to possibly see a little fogs driving around town here this morning. And we have much needed rainfall ahead, leading us into the weekend, Friday night into Saturday. We showed you the sunrise. You can start to see that sun beginning to beam off of the downtown skyline. Temperatures are downright cold. We feel like we are in the teens and low 20s. 19 is the wind chill in Murfreesboro, 20 in Nashville, 24 in Tullahoma, and 27 in Columbia and Lewisburg. Anywhere you go, it is a cold start to the day. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast and how long we're going to be stuck in this pattern, because we will be cold for a few more days. 46 this afternoon, tonight down to 27. And then tomorrow, 45, 26 tomorrow night, 51 on Friday, and then middle 40s. We'll be talking about that next weather maker and tracking it for you coming up in a few minutes in the next check of your Code Red forecast. Right now, we'll get you out on the road. Justin.
Still clear traffic at 6:35, so following that slowdown coming down from 24, very close to Briley Parkway. The tow truck has just left the scene, so we expect authorities will do so here shortly, and you perhaps will be out of the way here. Looks like we've just picked up something, though, coming back the other way. See this slowdown? That's not supposed to be there. All right, so we're going to figure out exactly what's going on the other direction here on 24 Briley, going towards Whites Creek now, because it would seem we've got a problem in that direction. We're going to get back to that coming up here in the next few minutes.
All right, Justin, thanks so much for that update. 6:35 right now. Operation Crime and Justice. We have a family shaken after a bullet hits their car over the holiday weekend. They were here in town for the Music City Bowl.
Yeah, the family was on Broadway for the pep rally for, like you just said, the Music City Bowl, a very busy weekend. Our Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live from downtown. And Peyton, what are our local leaders saying about what needs to be done because of this?
Well, Jen and Erica, local leaders are saying that they've already beefed up security downtown. We know that there's an entertainment district unit that is dedicated to working with downtown, talking with local businesses and just people on Broadway to get a feel for what they can do to make this place safer. But imagine being on Broadway, you're here with your kids, you're in your car, and all of a sudden glass shatters and there's a bullet hole very close, about an inch, only inches away from the back seat of your car, and there's children in your car. Now that's what this family went through over the weekend, and now the family is working through the trauma of what they've just experienced, and thankful no one was hurt, but this situation could have had a different ending. Metro Police say there is no indication that their vehicle was shot at on Broadway. The bullet hit the window and then hit the ground. Police believe the shot was fired in the air and came down, striking the victim's car.
The entertainment district is a unit is a big thing for the downtown core. They're a dedicated unit Thursday through Sunday that, to even that Facebook post, there was a quick response of officers to this situation that were there and ready to respond.
Now, that was Metro Council member Jacob Coupin, and he says Nashville overall is a safe city, and according to Metro Police data, crime is actually down just below just over 5% compared to this time last year. And Coupin says along with the mayor of nightlife, that they scope out the area, they walk through downtown to try to figure out where some of these crime pockets may be. But reporting in Nashville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. And if you would like to get more local reporting just like what you heard delivered right to your inbox, you can do so by simply signing up for our Fox 17 News daily newsletter. Do that by heading on over to the homepage of fox17.com.
And at 6:38 here on your Wednesday morning, the Murfreesboro Police Department has now identified the victim in a deadly crash from over the weekend. So we'll take you to Rutherford County in moments and get you updated on some headlines there. Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 6:40. Murfreesboro police have now identified the victim of a deadly crash from over the weekend.
Now, the police did report that crash happened over on Lebanon Pike near Cherry Lane on Friday, December the 29th. And according to the police department, it was an 18-year-old named Mason Rowland who was found unresponsive inside of an SUV.
Yeah, Murfreesboro Fire Rescue had to use the jaws of life to get him from that car. Police report the teenager died there at the scene.
Now, the impact of this crash did cause the power lines in that area to hang down over the roadway. According to the authorities there, the road was closed for several hours and traffic had to be rerouted while the fatal team for the police department conducted their investigation, and that utility pole had to be replaced.
All right. Right now, we're going to send it over to Greg Bobus, our Code Red meteorologist, who is tracking. Greg, I know we said it yesterday, but even still today, more changes that are developing in this forecast.
Yeah, and the big one this morning is even colder than yesterday morning. Frost on windshields, patches of fog. And now we're changing our timeline a little bit about the next big change, which is rain that moves into the area for parts of your weekend. Late Friday into Saturday will be our timeline. We're talking dinner time Friday through about lunchtime on Saturday. Consistent on and off rainfall for us. Up to an inch of rain is possible. And then if you get toward the higher elevations, toward the Cumberland Plateau, a little bit of light snow can't be ruled out. I'm not worried about it sticking, but if you're going to see a flake flying anywhere across Middle Tennessee, that's where you're going to be looking here leading into that time frame. The complete weekend outlook: rain early Saturday. It does die down by later in the day. Drier by Sunday. Warmer nights. If you don't like the nights that are in the 20s, which you can see on the right side of your screen, then you're in for a treat. We're back to the 30s. It's not necessarily warm, but warmer nights are ahead of us for your upcoming weekend.
Still clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's take a quick look, if we can, here at I-24 at the I-65 junction. As you can see, traffic is coming down, but we do have a bit of a crash there on the shoulder. TDOT is there with a vehicle that just couldn't go any further without the assistance of TDOT. Looks like they're making some progress there, perhaps. Other than that, you're good to go out there on the roads. This is causing a bit of a delay, though, so if you do want to get past this, you can jump off at places like Whites Creek Pike or Clarksville Highway and try to make your way down. Perhaps, you could get to Brick Church Pike off of Briley Parkway, perhaps, and make your way through that way as well. We'll continue to watch the roads here for you.
We're also continuing to follow this breaking news here on Fox 17 News out of South Nashville. That is where our team was out there on the scene asking officers about shots fired right here in the 4900 block of Shasta Drive. Metro Police telling us, though, one man was shot in the top of the ankle area and then taken to the hospital. As of right now, we can tell you no arrests have been made, but go ahead and make sure you've downloaded our free Fox 17 News app to get the very latest updates.
And still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning, a look at how holiday travel impacted, especially us here in the Mid-State. We'll tell you what the TSA and B&A leaders have to say about folks who are heading home for the holidays.
9.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Happy Wednesday to you. We have just really enjoyed, really enjoyed the sunrise this morning. That's cold. Don't let it fool you. So it is cold. You'll want to make sure you've got a coat and bundle up the kids this morning, but really just been treated to
at least if you're going outside, you can enjoy the sunrise.
Yeah, just a joyful sunrise. Now, Greg's tracking a little bit of fog in some spots this morning, so we'll check on that here in just a few minutes with him as we are your live local news source through 9.
But right now we're talking about the busy holiday weekend, especially when it comes to the airports. My dad was just there this morning.
Oh, did Dad go home today?
He did, but all is well. He made it through. No holdups.
Good. Well, according to the Transportation Security Administration, we have new numbers in for travel this year. All right, so looking at December 29th, just that day, December 29th, 2.6 million people went through checkpoints nationwide. Okay, that was the Friday before New Year's Eve. The number was 2.5 million on Saturday and then just over 2 million Sunday.
Wow. Meanwhile, over at Nashville's International Airport between December 19th and January 1st, the checkpoint throughout that area reaching 406,984,000. Okay, so whereas the equivalent during the days of the week in 2022, that's when they recorded about 354,000.
Wow. Okay, so busiest days this year, the Sunday before Christmas weekend, followed by the Tuesday and the Wednesday after Christmas. So an uptick of more than 50,000 extra travelers this year in Nashville.
But you know what? If you're not traveling by plane, maybe you're talking about the gas prices. Yeah, demand for gasoline in the U.S. plummeting by double digits over the last week.
Demand is down. Prices are lower, and that's good for the rest of us. According to Gas Buddy, U.S. prices dropped because demand dropped 12% during the holidays. Jumped up a little bit last week, but overall, the nationwide average is $3.06 a gallon. It is much less than that here in the Mid-State. In fact, I've seen regular unleaded for like $2.70 a gallon in places like Hendersonville. If you want to check the cheapest prices near you, head to fox17.com and search fuel gauge.
Always some good ideas. Hey, throughout 2023, artificial intelligence really proved that it can, well, write essays, generate images, even help communicate with robots.
Now, it might not do any of that well.
Yes, that's the key.
But it can do it. So is it, excitement or is it horror? It really depends on who you ask, but either way, it is going to develop more this year. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky taking a closer look.
Developments in artificial intelligence and robot software took 2023 by storm. And throughout the new year, technology experts say these innovations are only expected to improve, especially when it comes to the accuracy of the responses AI programs generate. Brendan Englot of the Stevens Institute of Technology believes there will also be a greater push to advance the language skills of robots using AI.
I think in 2024, we're really going to see that evolving, and we're going to see increasing robotics capabilities that involve human language and conversational instructions provided by human operators,
as well as refine a robot's coordination and ability to perform more complex tasks.
Does AI allow robots to walk or manipulate or move with more dexterity or agility? That is kind of a frontier we have not fully conquered yet. I would say that lies ahead for 2024.
Engineering company Apptronic is currently working on its Apollo robot. The humanoid is designed to move boxes and stack supplies for large retailers and manufacturers. Given a recent report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which finds there are millions of open jobs and not enough unemployed people to fill them, officials say it's critical robot technology forges on this year to help fill worker gaps in warehouses and factories.
Especially with the infrastructure bills that the U.S. is pushing forwards over the next couple of years, the demand for blue-collar labor is going to do nothing but increase over time.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Okay, code red weather alert now when it comes to those frigid temperatures. I'm saying alert because 17 degrees wind chill in some places.
We're not officially in code red,
No,
but
don't worry, but for me.
Yeah. And if you're not fully awake yet, still a little bit groggy, it's going to alert you the second you get out the door. It's going to wake you
Smack
up.
you in the face kind of cold. Really?
Smack you in the
Wake
face
up.
kind of cold.
Duh face, she said.
17 is what it feels like in some places right now. So yeah, that is a really cold start. We've been showing you the beautiful sunrise here so far this morning. The sunrise officially will be in 7 minutes from right now. So as we go into our 7 o'clock half hour and become your only live and local news source, we'll keep showing you the beautiful start to our day. Even though it feels cold, it looks pretty outside. Clouds will increase going through 9 and 10 o'clock. Temperatures will only make it to the middle 30s by 9 a.m. So warm, if not hot, cup of coffee here for you this morning. Down to our south and west, slow moving weather maker, not going to impact us. You can see the trajectory it's in. It's going to the east. So nothing that we have to contend with today, tomorrow, or the beginning of Friday when it comes to rain. I stress beginning because take a look at what happens at the end of Friday. We work into our next weather maker, and this is going to be our next chance to bring in some rain. I've changed the timing of it. This is now going to move in around 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then we'll continue to move through during the overnight hours and track out of here the second half of Saturday. So more rain comes overnight than we get during the daylight hours leading into Saturday. Could be an isolated stray shower on Sunday, but the bulk of our rain going to be in that earlier stage of the upcoming weekend. Let's take a look here. How much rain will we see by the end of the 7-day forecast? 1 to 3 inches of rain. We need it. We've been in a drought here for quite some time, and it has not let up. It's only gotten worse over the last 2 months. 46 degrees today, 45 tomorrow. 2 more cold nights in the 20s before that weather maker moves in and helps the temperatures rebound just a touch leading into the upcoming weekend. Right now, we'll look out your weather window.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A foggy New Year's morning off the Great Salt Lake. This bank rolled in around 8 a.m., but drone video above the blanket reveals a stunning sun. Elsewhere in Utah, a triad of snow, ice, and fog along Bear Lake, which straddles the Utah-Idaho border. And fresh sunrises, the gift of mornings, like this one along Driftwood Beach on Georgia's Jekyll Island.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Zero clear traffic this morning. For whatever the reason, TDOT has just decided to move away from a Accident involving a couple of tractor trailers and a car that was sitting on the shoulder of the road very close to I-40 at Fessler's Lane. I was just looking at it just a few seconds ago, and they decided, you don't need to see that right now. So they've moved over. We can tell you that it is causing a bit of a slowdown as you make your way in from the east side here this morning. Best way to steer clear is by using Elm Hill Pike itself. That is going to be a good way. Lebanon Pike, another good way for you to steer clear as you get out and about this morning. If there is anything else in the area, we'll be sure to let you know what is slowing you down as you make your way in, coming up in the next few minutes.
Justin, thank you. At 6:53 right now, Fox 17 News giving you a live look from Broadway, Bridgestone Arena, right there at the top where we got a win last night. In fact, it was a shutout. The Preds crushed the Blackhawks 3-0. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we have another home matchup for the Preds as they host the Calgary Flames at 7 o'clock.
Half off Christmas.
Hey, 6:56 is the time. Taking a live look this Wednesday morning of the sunrise, just beautiful colors. We always say that Music City, we have some of the best sunrises in the country, truly. And look at this one. Metro Center is a live look right there. And a reminder, I tweeted this out on X, that you can check out our Fox 17 News city cameras and look at the sunrises and the sunsets on our website. Just go to fox17.com to make that happen.
Well, first, folks here in the U.S. were cutting the cord. Now it appears more and more people are canceling the streaming services too. And that is forcing companies like Hulu, Netflix, and other streamers to bundle products offering discounts, or, as many of you have probably experienced, they're now running ads to keep their businesses profitable. In fact, about 25% of streaming subscribers have canceled at least 3 of the most popular services over the last couple of years. This is so interesting to me because I remember, right, when streaming first became popular and everybody was, cutting the cable, right, canceling DirecTV or whatever it is you were paying for. The number of people who were canceling streaming services just a couple of years ago was 15%. And now it's up to 25%. New research shows that people are just irritated with the price, frustrated with all the ads. We've seen, in fact, in some cases, a 6% jump in the cost of these streaming services just over the last year. You know what? I think just generally speaking, and I feel safe in saying that I can speak for y'all, you don't like feeling like you're being nickel and dime, right? Like, don't nickel and dime me to death. Yes. Because then we're going to be done. And I think that's what's happened in some of these cases.
Absolutely. To your point, Jen, my parents have said, we're done.
Just
no more.
Period, yeah.
With the streaming services.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it like this too. Netflix, when it came out, had almost all the content that has been split up into all these other ones.
True.
So now you got to have like 4 or 5 things to get what you're getting in one place. Yeah. But you can get all your weather right here in one place. Taking a look, your weekend outlook. I talked about rain for the weekend. 7 p.m. on Friday takes us into your Saturday. Saturday morning, best chance for rain. Rain dies down second half of the day. Good. Nighttime temperatures get a little bit better too. Not the 20s. We're waking up this morning in the 20s. It is cold. Our wind chills are in the teens. Well, a brand new update of temperature coming up in the 7 o'clock half hour. Also a new look at Future Track, the latest hour-by-hour rundown of that weekend rain, because we'll see if we have to tweak it a little bit. And we'll continue to do so throughout the rest of this week. Drier by Sunday. Those warmer nights will lead us into a very nice start to next week, but we have to get through the beginning of the weekend first.
Center clear traffic this morning. Let's get to the traffic out there. This is going to be I-24 Haywood Lane. As you make that drive into town, things are running along. We're running into some slowdowns, though. We're going to give you the details about the drive coming up in the next few minutes.
Justin, thank you. As we quickly approach 7 o'clock, there's a brand new report out this morning that ranks the top on-time airlines. Aviation analytics firm Cirium reports that Delta was the most on-time North American carrier for the 3rd year in a row. Delta flights reportedly arrive within 15 minutes of their scheduled gate arrival, and they do that almost 85% of the time.
All right. The report also says Alaska Airlines ranking second with 82.25% of flights arriving on time. Cirium also says that carriers around the world scheduled 32 million flights last year alone.
All right, 7 o'clock on the dot right now. So we're going to get started with our 7 o'clock hour. And we've got a story online that you might be interested in reading throughout the course of the day about a 16-year-old who ended up in the wrong destination on a Frontier flight, speaking of airlines. So we've got that for you at fox17.com. Our 7 o'clock hour starts now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up, your local representatives respond to the surge of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border.
And Fox 17 News is still loading and steer clear traffic, where we've got an eye on things for you. It looks like Justin's got a couple of things that he's watching right now, including a backup in one location in particular. We're going to take you there and work on detours as needed.
What's already loading, though, is this beautiful sunrise shot. 2 shots there. Batman building, just a great sunrise. We're going to give you your full forecast and how to plan for the weekend. Possibility of snow flurries in some places. We'll have it all for you, though. Want to start, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here bright and early on a Wednesday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. And we begin this 7 o'clock hour with a breaking news update right now after a shooting earlier this morning in South Nashville. This is not far from the Nashville Zoo. Metro Police have now been able to tell us that they are trying to track down a person who is connected to that shooting in that area. So we'll continue to watch that. Plus, getting new information about a shooting off Nolensville Pike from yesterday.
Yeah, so we're getting some more updates, including how the person was identified as 18-year-old William Silva. We also understand that he arrived at the hospital there, 2 young men in a black SUV dropping Silva off at Southern Hills Medical Center before taking off from the hospital. Now, Silva suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, dying a short time later. We're getting some more updates from detectives, but want to let you know if you want to read the full story and those updates, go to fox17.com.
7:02 is the time right now, and we're getting you updated on another big story that we've been following here in Operation Crime and Justice. A family traumatized after a bullet hits their car in downtown Nashville while they were here for the Music City Bowl. It happened when they had 2 children sitting in the back seat.
Just a scary situation. So the bullet hole just inches away, they say, from a child's car seat. The family also sharing a photo saying it all happened shortly after leaving the Auburn pep rally for the Music City Bowl that was happening in downtown Nashville. That family, though, now giving credit to God that no one got injured. The Metro Police Department telling Fox 17 News that it appears a shot was fired in the air and came down hitting the car. Listen here, though.
I'm just thankful that everybody's safe and no one was injured. I'm sorry that they had a horrific time and horrific experience. There's nothing, I can't imagine how scary that was. But I want people to know that overall we are a safe city. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure people are safe and comfortable.
Well, it's part of our continued reporting here at Fox 17 News, working to hold leaders accountable when it comes to crime, when it comes to homelessness in downtown Nashville, and how that impacts tourism here. Metro Councilmember Jacob Coupin, who you just heard from, says he is pushing for more officers in downtown Nashville and says he's going into nearby neighborhoods to identify trouble spots.
7:03, some new updates to your forecast here as we go through this 7 o'clock hour and into 8. We're going to see our temperatures finally get a little bit warmer. They're not there yet. We're only 5 minutes into our sunrise today. 22 is your wind chill temperature in Nashville, 15 in Clarksville, 14 degrees is the feels like right now in Murfreesboro. So keep that in mind. This is going to be a very cold feeling to the beginning of the day, the end of the day, very similar to what you had yesterday. We'll be in the middle 40s. Clouds will be on the increase throughout the afternoon, so a fairly overcast end to the day. Not much fog in the metro area right now, but outlying areas, especially off toward the east of Nashville, have seen a few pockets that have developed and died down throughout the morning. No advisories out there, and not really trackable here this morning just because these little pockets are not long-lived. What we're tracking moving forward, Friday, late in the day into the overnight, and then ending early Saturday. That is our next rainmaker. That is our next weather maker. Half of an inch to an inch of rain can't be ruled out during that time frame. Light snow for the Cumberland Plateau can't be ruled out, but that's not going to stick. And we'll get a little bit warmer here later in the week. 46 degrees today, 45 tomorrow. 2 more chilly nights in the 20s tonight and tomorrow night before we do see a little surge of warmth into the upcoming weekend. Justin?
Steer clear traffic out here for you this morning. Let's get to the latest going on I-24 near Haywood Lane. We were just dealing with a bit of a backup happening here as you make your way in from Antioch a short time ago. Thankfully, though, things have eased up over the last few moments, and you can make your way in a lot better now than you could, say, about 5 to 10 minutes ago. We've hit a good pocket of traffic here as the traffic on the road starting to increase a little bit. Speaking of which, I recognize this picture. This looks a lot like normal traffic here on I-24-65 on the junction. Not quite normal. It's not quite as packed as it normally will be this time next week, but it's starting to get there as more and more people head back to work.
Justin, thank you very much. 7:05 is the time right now, and new reports this morning showing the U.S. border is now on track to process hundreds of thousands of people crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Whether those are folks coming here illegally or legally, we are seeing a huge surge at the southern border.
And right now, Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is live in front of the Capitol after speaking with Tennessee House representatives about this issue. So, Karen, what are some of their concerns and their perspectives?
Well, coming up next right here on Fox 17 News this morning, we're going to tell you the very latest about that tornado damage down in Hendersonville and how one legendary Tennessee landmark may not be able to recover.
Season, cozy up.
7:08 is the time. Listen to this story that's all new this morning. The damage done from the December the 9th tornado is causing a lot of homes and businesses to rebuild. But there's one famous home in Hendersonville that may not survive. You can see it right here behind me. You can see the T perhaps right there on the gate. It is the former home of the country music superstar and legend and icon Conway Twitty. This is a picture thanks to Rick Murray, who is able to give us this particular picture of Conway Twitty's home after the December the 9th tornadoes. This picture taken from the air. You can see the roof damage done there to the mansion that was originally built back in 1982. Now, the property is owned by the Trinity Broadcasting Network, who says many of their buildings on that campus are barely in one piece, and the mansion in particular may have to be demolished.
We have 100 staff people, production editors that are all displaced. Some are working from home. Some are trying to work in a building that's unsafe right now, to be honest with you. We're trying to get them out of there quickly. The whole building was twisted. The roof of the Huckabee Theater, by the grace of God, came up and came down. That whole roof is going to be replaced. If it had collapsed in completely, that theater would be gone. The mansion roof came up and came down and was twisted. The mansion before that was in bad shape. Now it's in real bad shape.
And again, they're thinking about having to demolish the Conway Twitty mansion. Now, it was once the centerpiece to an attraction there in Hendersonville called Twitty City. Built back in 1982, tours were given every year, every Christmas, all the way until 2016. No final decision has been made as of yet.
7:10, your time taking a look at your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. No Code Red weather, but definitely tracking some rain coming into the weekend. It's not what you see on your screen right here. So if you're looking at your radar on your phone and you see a lot of green real close to us, don't worry about that. That's going to scoot to the east and to the south of us. Taking a look, today stays dry, so does tomorrow and most of Friday. Those dry conditions give us cold nights. You're waking up right now, right side of your screen. Current temperatures are in the 20s. We feel like we're in the upper teens and low 20s. Very cold to kick off this Wednesday. Here's our weather maker for the weekend. Moving in as early as around dinner time or just past dinner time here on Friday. Lingers with us overnight into your Saturday. Now it moves in earlier and exits earlier than it looked like it would earlier in the week. So that's good news for us here. Most of your Saturday will stay on the drier side.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get a good look here at I-65 and I-24. This is there on the north side. As you can see, traffic moving along. However, we are running into some slowdown there. No reports of an accident in that area, just typical stop and go as you make that drive in so far. We will continue to follow the roads here for you. Just know we're not seeing accidents, but we are seeing the return of congestion. More and more people getting out on the roads, more and more people, the break is over. People are going back to work.
Wild Horse Saloon closes its doors after 30 years of being the largest dance floor downtown. What's next for this historic location?
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning at 7:14. In our community, the Wild Horse Saloon officially closing its doors after nearly 30 years in Nashville.
A whole lot of memories and a whole lot of dancing. The Wild Horse Saloon over on 2nd Avenue, opening back in 94. They've been a staple ever since. Our Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live downtown with more on what's next for them. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So the owners of Wild Horse Saloon say that they're excited for the next chapter, but the bar, the Wild Horse Saloon, is going to be transformed into a honky tonk inspired by country artist Luke Combs. And there's mixed emotions coming from our Facebook post from yesterday. This one viewer says, all for the sake of progress, food on that, lots of memories in that wonderful place, and wishing good luck to Luke on this adventure. Another chiming in that this progress needs to be shut down, hinting at the growth of Nashville. And Luke Combs' bar is set to open this summer of 2024. Combs said last spring he mentioned how he got his start here in Nashville at the honky tonks, and opening up a bar of his own is a dream come true. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, checking in with Steer Clear Traffic this morning. Let's take a quick look here at I-40 at Spence Lanes. You make that drive in from the east side this morning. As you can see, traffic moving along without any issue other than a little bit of a slowdown. As you make your way in over there from that east side, you can see how the traffic has slowed down. Congestion has started to make a comeback here across downtown Nashville. So you can see people slowing down on that outer lane as they approach the split over there on the east side of town. So give yourself some extra time. Same can be said there on the north side, 65 to 24. Haven't seen anything like this in the last several weeks, to be honest with you. It's been a little while since we've seen stop and go at 7:15, 7:16 here on a weekday morning on the north side. So remember, you can take Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike. Those are good ways to try and get around of some of the stop and go.
7:16 is the time. We're checking in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus. This could be you. Okay. I see what we're doing here.
If you parked outside last night and you're still in the shade, you might have some frost on the windshields this morning. This is exactly what I mean. This was one of the cars that was in the parking lot this morning. This could be you.
It's the worst situation when you wake up, you got to get to work on time, and
you're running late.
Oh.
And you're sitting there, and you just watch that little circle of the defrost start to work in the middle of your windshield.
Tick-tock.
And then you end up in a really uncomfortable place to start your day. So don't let this be you. If you're parked in the shade still, watch out for it. Here we are. Looking downtown, clouds are on the increase. We've had some pockets of fog on and off throughout this morning, but no fog advisories, and that'll be out of here by about 9, 10 o'clock this morning. Much needed rain this weekend, late Friday into Saturday. Our best chance for rain to move in. We don't get a whole lot of it. It's a low impact event. It happens overnight mainly. We'll track that for you coming up in your forecast. The high impact to your morning is how cold it feels outside. We feel like we are in the teens and 20s, and it's 7 o'clock already. 31 will be your temperature at 8 a.m., 37 temperature at 10, and 43 at noon. So if morning dog walking is what we're trying to get into, or just letting the dogs outside for a little bit, it is that very cold start the afternoon, a little more manageable back into the middle 40s. We'll be in the mid 40s today and tomorrow, 51 degrees for Friday, middle 40s on Saturday and Sunday, and not just the weekend, not just Friday into Saturday, which I've been talking about, but also Tuesday. A chance for some rain. We'll take a look at how much we'll see when we add all 7 days together coming up in the next check of your Code Red forecast.
Greg, thanks so much. At 7:18 right now, the war between Israel and Hamas is starting to reach beyond its borders, and that could start to send shipping and oil prices soaring.
Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino joining us in the studio with more on the most recent events and how we could really feel the impacts here at home. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, guys. Well, the first major development here is the assassination of Hamas deputy leader behind me, or was behind me. There he is, Salah al-Aruri in Lebanon. That happened yesterday. U.S. officials saying Israel was behind his death, and that extremists in Lebanon are now calling for revenge. Now, this is very significant because it shows that Israel will go after Hamas leaders who are not just in Gaza, but in other countries as well. Now, this could spread the conflict north of Israel and beyond, just as the situation is also heating up to the south here. Here's Israel. Again, this conflict could potentially spread beyond just the borders of Israel and in Gaza. Now, Iran has sent a Navy vessel into the Red Sea after the U.S. sunk 3 Houthi boats there. Those Iranian-backed boats were attacking container ships. Why this is so dire? The Red Sea here is a vital trade route. If oil tankers cannot get through there, they might have to take longer, more expensive journeys. That could increase the cost of shipping and oil and drive up prices at the pump here at home. And these increases would not just be in the U.S., they would absolutely be global. Let's take a look at average gas prices now across the country. $3.09. We are lower than that here in Tennessee at $2.73. Davidson County on par with the state average at $2.73. Williamson County, though, is at $3.27. I checked all the other counties in the mid-state. They're in the twos. So if you can avoid filling up in Williamson County, do it. Get your gas somewhere else. We'll continue to monitor not only everything happening in the Middle East, but how that impacts us here at home. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kelly, thank you so much. Hey, when do the winter blues warrant a trip to go see your doctor? We're going to talk about the signs that health experts say you should not ignore. Stay with us.
Breaking news. Hey there, welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 7:23 is your time in health news. Winter's here, of course, and for so many people, that means they're battling seasonal affective disorder. It is a form of depression associated with the changing seasons.
Now, most of the time, it is felt in the fall and in the winter.
It occurs in 1 to 10% of Americans. It's more common amongst females and people who live in colder climates.
Well, now doctors say some people may not even know they have seasonal affective disorder. So there are some things that you can watch out for, 5 things in particular.
First of all, if you're feeling down, unmotivated, or just generally have a loss of interest in the things you used to enjoy, or if you're seeing shifts in your appetite, maybe you're eating more or you're craving carbs, changes in your sleep patterns, typically sleeping too much. And then another thing to watch out for would be an overall loss of energy.
So if you have some of these things, experts say that if you're having trouble with the daily routines because of the seasonal affective disorder, you should try, change your diet. Perhaps some light therapy could be necessary. We get that every morning here in the Fox 17 News studios. You can't see all the different lights surrounding us, but there's quite a few. You can also reach out to your doctor, of course.
Even so, and I just want to share a little bit of personal information as we get ready to go to Greg, because on this topic.
Yes.
Right, we come to work in the dark.
We do.
Like many of you, especially shift workers.
Yeah.
And we work in an environment where there is no natural sunlight.
No windows here in our studios.
And not seeing the natural sunlight can be detrimental. So you can buy light boxes. Not like, I mean, we have a ton of these LED lights in here. But I, in the past, have bought a light box that mimics the sunlight.
Yes.
And that can help.
To kind of give you that feel.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Speaking
something
of-
to keep in mind. Speaking of sunlight.
Let's get to Greg Bones.
And there's a little sunlight out there for you right now, but the cloud's going to take that over going into the afternoon, so get it while you can. Here we are. Temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s. Our sunrise was at 6:58 earlier today. And by the time we get to 9 a.m., we do get a little bit better when it comes to how it's going to feel outside. This is a weather maker down to our south that will stay away from us. Our next one moves in late Friday into Saturday. And this is what we're going to time out here on Future Track once again for you to let you know the timeline. I'm talking dinner time Friday. So earlier, it moves in earlier now than we anticipated earlier in the week, and then tracks through overnight and should be out of here by the time we get to lunchtime on Saturday. Good news there. Now, another weather maker that I mentioned will track in on Tuesday. By the end of the next 7 days, 1 to 3 inches of rain is coming our way.
Ooh, some soakers getting ready to move in. Thank you, Greg. Let's take a look at steer clear traffic. This is going to be I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway. We are moving rather slowly, but things should start to loosen up soon. There was a crash involving a car that had a flat tire that's moved out of the way near Bell Road. Once it's out of the way, things should start to loosen up.
Well, today's headlines could include breaking news related to Jeffrey Epstein, including the names of more than 170 people with ties, some kind of connections to the late sex offender. Court filings going to be released this week. It's all part of a settled civil lawsuit from one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers. And new this morning is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. She is now sharing her perspective right here on social media. She shared it on Fox News, saying in part, and I'm quoting here, "I will not stop fighting until all of Epstein's records are released. The American people deserve transparency, and his victims, they deserve justice."
Coming up, your local representatives share their opinion on what's happening at the border with the surge of migrants.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 7:30 is your time right now, and I am tracking 2 weather makers that move in to give us some much needed rainfall coming up in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us near the airport where things are rolling along just fine, but there are some slowdowns. I'll tell you where.
I want to thank you for waking up with us here on a Wednesday morning for Fox 17 News, the third day. Yes, of 2024. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. And as such, we've got more local headlines to kick off this 7:30 half hour. Brand new reports coming in from the Mexico border, but with local impacts here at home as border agents are processing record numbers of people trying to come into the country.
Yeah, so what does that mean for us right here in Middle Tennessee? Our Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar is joining us in front of the Capitol after speaking with our Tennessee House representatives.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. The Tennessee General Assembly is scheduled to begin their legislative session next week, and on the forefronts of their mind is immigration policy reform and border security. This comes after reports say that border officials are on track to process over 300,000 migrants that are crossing the U.S.-Mexico border for the month of December, sparking debate between some House Republicans and Democrats on immigration legislation. Democratic Representative Afton Bain tells me we should be more concerned with making things affordable for people who live here rather than propose laws she feels are anti-immigrant. Republican House Majority Leader William Lamberth has expressed that the situation at the border threatens security for Americans, including right here in Tennessee. He sent a statement to Fox 17 that reads in part, "Only when our borders are secure will this madness end." Bain says that the accusations towards migrants, such as them being here illegally and not paying taxes, is a distraction from bigger issues. Take a listen.
I think a lot more immigrants pay taxes than the major corporations who have received hundreds of millions of dollars in federal subsidies in the state of Tennessee, who don't pay taxes.
The legislative session begins next Tuesday. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, thank you very much, Karen. 7:32 right now. Just a quick reminder, if you want to stay updated on stories just like Karen's and all of our other local coverage throughout the course of the day, once we go off the air, you can do that by getting our daily newsletter. We put everything in one place for you, delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for it now at fox17.com.
Your forecast here is off to a very cold start. Usually we don't show temperature maps in the morning because, well, they're on the right side of your screen, but these numbers don't match what's on the right side of the screen because this is the feels like. What you're walking out to and how your skin is going to react to it. 21 degrees, your wind chill temperature in Murfreesboro, 25 in Nashville, and 22 in Lebanon. Cold start, even some teens have been popping up. We've been kind of teetering around the 20-degree mark in many areas of the Cumberland Plateau. fog decreasing for us here hour by hour. Now that the sun is up, it'll start doing its job, warm us up, and pull away whatever fog is left out there east of Nashville. What we're tracking, up to an inch of rain for Saturday. It's possible. The timing has changed since you went to bed last night. It's looking a little bit earlier in the evening on Friday when it moves in, and then moves out a little bit earlier in the morning afternoon hours of Saturday. Light snow for the plateau can't be ruled out. Still, percentage chance has not gone up. Only about a 10% chance to see a few flakes flying out there. So not a big weather maker when it comes to snow. More so of a temperature shift. Look at the nighttime temps. Tonight and tomorrow night, 20s once again. 40s for the afternoons today and tomorrow. 30s, though, for nighttime temps into the weekend. Right now, we're going to get you out on the road with Steer Clear traffic.
Steer Clear traffic for you this morning at 7:34. A quick look here at I-65 at Trinity Lane on the north side. As you can see, traffic is moving, but moving slowly here as you make that drive in. We are dealing with just normal congestion coming up there from that north side. Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike are good ways to steer clear. Now, we're also following what looks like a crash coming out of the Clarksville area. Right now, we're talking about 75 minutes in from Clarksville to downtown Nashville. That crash does clear up after you get past, looks like around exit 11 or so, coming out of the city of Clarksville. We're going to take a closer look at that. Perhaps Pleasant View could be impacted as well, coming up here in the next few minutes.
Justin, thank you. Now listen to this. It's a story about how technology sometimes can be life-saving. We're talking about an iPhone getting the credit for alerting first responders to a crash because of Apple's iPhone crash notification systems.
All right, you might not have even realized this was possible on your iPhone. It's not every iPhone, okay? These have to be the more updated, newer versions, but the Murray County Fire Department says it helped here. Rescue crews showed up after a driver got out of this incredibly mangled car here. So the driver was out waiting for help. The driver didn't realize that Apple's crash detection software connected emergency responders to that location directly. Still working to find out what caused the crash, but the technology on some of the newer iPhones, similar to OnStar, you know, if you have that service, or for those of you who have kids at home and you use the Life 360 app, that app will also give you the same kind of notifications.
In your community here on Fox 17 News, after 30 years, a Nashville staple, Wild Horse Saloon, closing their doors. The music venue opening back in 1994 over on 2nd Avenue.
I've loved reading all the comments from you, our viewers, about your memories at Wild Horse. Well, now the future is here for that location. And Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live to tell us what the future is going to look like. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. A lot of mixed emotions when it comes to the Wild Horse Saloon closing its doors, the largest dance floor on Broadway here in Nashville. Now, the owners tell us that they're excited for the future, so it doesn't sound like the Wild Horse Saloon is gone forever. Maybe perhaps a new location, we're not too sure yet, but what we do know is that the bar will be reinvented into a Luke Combs inspired honky tonk. One viewer says, quote, "I went a few times, sad it's closing because it was a landmark." Another says they wish all the country stars would leave Nashville alone. They're not doing us any favors. I miss the old Nashville. Organizers for the new venue say they will keep the saloon's existing stage for line dancing. And like I said, we'll keep you updated on the future of Wild Horse Saloon if they open up a new location. But Luke Combs, his bar is expected to open sometime this summer 2024. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, thank you so much, Peyton. Hey, now that all the celebrations are over here in Nashville and we're trying to settle back into a new routine for the new year, we're going to take a closer look this morning at how much it could cost you this year to get around with your local gas price check in minutes.
It's been a long year of
7:40 your time. Taking a look at the three big bullet points of our forecast that we'll continue to break down for you. For the rest of the morning, chilly days continue today, tomorrow, and even leading our way into Friday. The Friday morning, for sure at least, is going to be on the colder side. Patches of fog this morning that are lifting as we speak. Much needed rain ahead of us. We'll look at our drought monitor and we'll take a look at how much rain we're going to see throughout the duration of the next 7 days in the next check of our forecast. But for right now, a look downtown. Starting to look a little bit gloomier hour by hour. Clouds are picking up and they'll continue to do so as we go into the afternoon hours especially. And then the next rain chance moves in late Friday into early Saturday. It's not a big threat when it comes to an impact. Most of it will be overnight, but it'll be there for us. And taking a look at how you feel, these numbers have not improved in some spots, even though the sun's been up for almost an hour. 18, your feels like temperature out toward Hopkinsville. 18 in Cookeville and also in Clarksville. You'd have to right around 22 degrees. 25 in Nashville. 22 in Murfreesboro. We're bundling up. We're using the winter coats this morning, and we're going to continue with that pattern for a few more days when the nights get a little bit better. And the second weather maker in that rain stretch that we'll see that's coming your way in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to try to get you back out on the roadway, see how things are looking to start off your day. Justin, how are we looking?
All right, steer clear traffic gets us started down here in the Antioch area. Let's get to I-24 Haywood Lane as you make that drive down there from Antioch into town. You can see we're doing well. Now listen, we were running into the pockets. The pockets are starting to come back where you have pockets of good traffic and then pockets of really stop and go. So this is a good pocket as you make your way in. We're running into some rough pockets. It's coming down 24 from Clarksville. We do have a crash around exit 11. Heads up in that area. Could cost you an extra 5 to 10 minutes or so. You could take Highway 41A. That's Clarksville Highway. Is a good way to steer clear.
It's 7:42 right now. Cheaper gas prices could help you in the new year, especially if you maybe spent a little too much over the holidays. And the reason we're seeing lower prices right now is because demand overall is down across the U.S.
So according to Gas Buddy, the United States gasoline demand fell 12% during the holidays just last week. That's after going up the week before. Gas prices fell 2 cents.
Say that again.
Gas prices fell 2 cents from a week ago to $3.06. Of course, here in the state of Tennessee, you can get it a lot cheaper than the national price.
Right now, Fox 17 News, we are continuing to follow breaking news out of South Nashville that we told you about around 4 o'clock this morning. That is where our crews were out there speaking with officers about shots fired. This happened over in the 4900 block of Shasta Drive, okay? Metro Police telling us a man was shot in the ankle area and then taken over to the hospital. As of right now, we can say no arrests have been made, but we're still asking more questions. We'll be sure to share any updates over on fox17.com and right here on air.
Well, out of the playoffs, but still plenty to play for. We're going to tell you about the hurdles the Tennessee Titans could face in their season finale.
Fox 17 News.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 7:45, and as a lot of folks are incorporating health and fitness in their New Year's resolutions, this could mean more walking. Great way to get moving. Radnor Lake will soon be able to offer a new path to do that. And right now they're also offering to take your Christmas tree. Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Brett Luna has more.
I'm out here at Radnor Lake State Park right now and just wanted to have a little bit of fun with this story today. I love going on hikes. Today we had some really good weather for it too, especially if you like it a little bit on the cooler side. But just always so good to just get outdoors and enjoy nature and just get on some nice hikes. But there's a couple of things that I want to point out. One is the Harris Ridge Trail. I'm hoping that that gets completed this year, 2024. Once that is completed, that's going to be a new 3-mile hiking trail for you. And also want to come over here to this big old pile of Christmas trees too. And what this is their Christmas tree program. This is at the Visitor Center parking lot right off of the Granny White Pike exit. So what you'll do is you have until January 31st to do this. Bring your Christmas tree out here, throw it up on top of this big pile of trees that's already here. Just make sure there's no sort of decorations or anything on the tree. It's just supposed to be the tree itself. And then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to get all these trees, they're going to grind them up, turn them into some mulch, and then that's going to create that nice soft trail that you're walking on out here at Radnor Lake. Reporting in Nashville, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Look at Brett getting out and about.
I like that. He loves the hike, you know that?
Yes, he does. All right. I know for those of you who love to get out too, whether you're hiking or just maybe taking the little dog for a walk.
Yeah. Anything. Morning hours really cold today, tomorrow, and also on Friday. Afternoons will be very similar to yesterday. So we're talking 40s. Not all that bad if you're going to get some outdoor activities in. No rain. That's the good part here for the rest of this week. That includes today, tomorrow, and the beginning of Friday. If you have Friday evening plans, I want you to listen up because that's when the rain begins to move in. But for your breakfast this morning, we're going to be in the 30s to right near 40 by 11 o'clock. This is where we're going to be when it comes to code red. Low impact situation for the weekend, but high impact when it comes to maybe plans that are outdoors. We're not going to have any dangerous weather, but much needed rainfall that will settle in. The majority of it's going to be overnight, Friday night into Saturday. But as Jen mentioned, maybe you're going to take the little pup for a walk later on today. The couple of hours ahead of us, leading until about 10 o'clock, are going to continue to be cold. I'll show you your wind chills coming up here as we go into the next check of the forecast, and it's not pretty. We're in the teens and low 20s right now. Like I mentioned, low impact for Friday and Saturday, medium impact. It's not a high impact event, but a little windy on Tuesday of next week, and we'll actually get a little more rain on Tuesday of next week than we get over the weekend. When all is said and done, in the next 7 days, we'll see 1 to 3 inches of rain that will really be very beneficial for us here because we are in desperate need of some rain over the last 6 months.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. Let's check in on Steer Clear traffic right now. Time to 7:48. Things have been moving along all right today. All in all, with traffic bumping back up with folks going to work, it hasn't been too bad. This is I-40 at Donaldson Pike, right over by the airport. No big congestion spots here. We'll check in on Steer Clear traffic in a couple more minutes with Justin McFarland.
And hey, we're also talking about sports, kind of. Looking ahead, changes are on the way to the home of the Titans. This area right behind us here. In just a couple of weeks, crews are going to break ground on something called Titans Town.
Yeah, Justin first showed us the renderings of this yesterday. We're going to take a closer look here now. We're talking about 56 trailers that are going to set up in like a little mini city. And this is going to serve as construction central for the $2 billion domed stadium. This is going to be the biggest visual change that we've seen so far ahead of stadium construction. So this trailer hub is going to have space for classrooms where folks who come there to work will get some on-the-job training.
There hasn't been a meeting that I've been a part of where we talk about the participation of local and diverse vendors on this project where I haven't gotten a little bit emotional about the idea that this is not something where we are going to just follow contracts. We are going to do the right thing. We are going to be creative. We are going to be thoughtful, and we are going to do the right thing. I just promise you, that's our attitude. That's our spirit. That's our intent.
Well, keep in mind the new Dome Stadium is set to be completed in 2027, and the first event is going to be WrestleMania.
Get ready for it. Hey, looking ahead now to this weekend. Speaking of the Titans, when we're going to wrap up our regular season and the season and all here at home, but we've got action right here on Fox 17. So we start at noon with a doubleheader. Minnesota will play Detroit, and that game will be followed by Dallas taking on Washington at 3.
All right, for some of you all, the start of a new year sometimes means some new goals. We talked about this just yesterday, but numbers show that very few follow through with their plans. It's sometimes hard.
Yeah, it can be tough. Janae Bowens with a look at how you can guarantee success.
It seems like everybody's talking about what they want to accomplish in this new year.
To reduce the amount of my visceral abdominal fat that I have.
60% of my income goes into savings.
I want to improve my posture. I feel like I have very poor posture.
According to a poll from Forbes Health and one poll, getting in shape is the most popular New Year's resolution for 2024. However, according to The Ohio State University, only 9% of Americans who make resolutions complete them. 23% of people quit their resolution by the end of the first week. 43% quit by the end of January.
Okay, I'm going to go to the gym every day for an hour. No, you're not.
Lee Richardson, the CEO of the Brain Performance Center, a behavioral health center, says people fail their goals because they create unrealistic expectations.
So what I encourage people to do is say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. And maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 45 minutes, but whatever you want to accomplish, set goals around that. Make sure that they're measurable, make sure that they're realistic, and make sure that you can accomplish them.
She says it also helps to have an accountability partner.
Done. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with saying, can you check in with me every week to make sure I get this done?
That push could be what's needed to accomplish your resolution. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
After nearly 30 years as a downtown staple, the Wild Horse Saloon closing their doors for good, but they're reinventing, so to speak. We're going to have so much more telling you what's replacing this iconic dance bar just ahead. Stay with us. Happy Wednesday.
When your door is...
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. We are your live local news source through 9 a.m. Want to give a shout out to the Preds who beat the Blackhawks last night in a shutout. By the way, I was just checking the rankings. The Preds sitting fourth in their division, so looking good. And we have another home matchup tomorrow night where the Calgary Flames are coming to Nashville. That's a 7 o'clock puck drop.
Promotional consideration for this program provided by Ponce Law.
Hey, do you know someone in your hometown hero, I should say in your community, who's a hometown hero? Words are hard sometimes. If you do, Fox 17 News, we would love to share their story.
Yeah, Ponce Law and Fox 17 have been teaming up for 3 years now to find and award our local hometown heroes $1,000 every month. We have shared so many stories across so many communities, and we just want to keep that going into 2024.
Absolutely. So you can now nominate your hometown hero by going online at poncelaw.com/hometown hero. Take a look at your screen for all the info. Every single month, a selected hero will then be featured right here on Fox 17 News.
Promotional consideration for this program provided by Ponce Law.
Approaching 8 o'clock here. Let's go ahead to your weekend. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are very cold. We have 20s right now, on our way to the 30s and eventually the 40s this afternoon. So we do get a decent rebound, but we still feel cold for right now. Keep that in mind. Heavy coats this morning. Rain early Saturday. It's going to end a little bit earlier in the day than we anticipated at the beginning of the week. That's good news for us here. It's also going to start a little bit earlier on Friday evening. Think around 6, 7 o'clock. Rain begins to move in, and then it tracks out by the afternoon of Saturday. 47 on Saturday, 48 degrees on Sunday. Drier by Sunday, not guaranteed that we could pop out a shower or two. It's possible, but likely dry. Warmer nights ahead. So the 20s that we've been waking up to and will continue to wake up to tomorrow and also on Friday, those die down a little bit. We get temperatures that are a little more manageable. 36 degrees Saturday night into Sunday, and then we go 34 degrees Sunday night into Monday. Monday is the pick of the forecast here with temperatures that will easily make it up to right near 50 degrees with some sunshine. We'll take a look at that and a brand new look at Future Track to time out that weekend rain for you as we go into our 8 o'clock half hour in just about 2 minutes.
Clear traffic for you this morning, going on 758. Quick look here at I-24 Shelby Avenue in the heart of downtown Nashville. We're doing fine out there this morning with some slight slowdowns here and there, but nothing severe that's really holding you up, at least not right now. We were dealing with a very significant crash up near the Clarksville area. Looks like things are starting to calm down just a little bit coming in from there. 65 minutes on that drive coming down from Montgomery County as that crash happened right around exit 11 as you make your way in from Montgomery County towards Pleasant View. So you can still take Highway 431A, or excuse me, 41A, which is Clarksville Highway, is the best way to steer clear. But things are starting to clear up.
Thank you, Justin. Trending right now over on our website, fox17.com. The number one story is Elon Musk slamming Green Day over what he calls a MAGA agenda and lyrics that have been changed during a New Year's Eve performance. So that's getting a lot of traction right now. Another top trending story, the Murfreesboro teenager identified as the victim in a deadly crash over on Lebanon Pike. And a story that we've been following now for a day or so is the Robertson County teacher who unexpectedly died from flu complications. here this season. So a lot of stories that do have local impact, and then some that are making national headlines as well. You can find these and so many more over at fox17.com.
And talking about our website, we're also talking about stories that are, trending when it comes to the most common Google searches. It turns out answers to health issues. If you're curious about what people are searching for the most, Google has just released the top trending health-related questions searched for the U.S. right here from 2023, January to November. Turns out it's strep throat. A lot of parents, I think. Yeah. How long is strep throat contagious? That was followed by how contagious is strep throat. Stay with us, though. Our 8 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up, your local representatives respond to the surge of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border.
And we are tracking changes in the timing of weekend rain. We need the rain, but it
Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Fox 17 News is always your live local news source through 9 a.m.
We have new information this Wednesday morning about a story we brought you as breaking news yesterday. Metro Police have now identified the victim of the Tuesday night shooting right off of Nolensville Pike, 18-year-old William Silva.
Yeah, according to the police report that we've had a chance to look at, 2 young men in a black SUV dropped Silva off at Southern Hills Medical Center before then taking off. Silva had several gunshot wounds and then died a short time later. We do have homicide detectives now on the case trying to learn more. If you have any information about it, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. 8:01 is the time right now, and in Operation Crime and Justice, a family is left traumatized after a bullet pierces their car in downtown Nashville in the middle of the Music City Bowl celebrations. 2 children sitting in the back seat of that car.
Just a very scary scenario. This bullet hole that we're showing you photos of just inches away, the family says, from a child's car seat. The family telling us it all happened shortly after leaving the Auburn pep rally downtown for the Music City Bowl. The family, though, now giving credit to God that no one got hurt. The Metro Police Department says it appears a shot was fired in the air and then came down, ultimately hitting the car. Listen here to one of our local leaders.
I'm just thankful that everybody's safe and no one was injured. I'm sorry that they had a horrific time and horrific experience. There's nothing, I can't imagine how scary that was. But I want people to know that overall we are a safe city. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure people are safe and comfortable.
Metro Council member Jacob Coupin, who you just heard from there, says that he's pushing to get more officers downtown. Coupin says that he's also going into neighborhoods in that area to identify trouble spots.
And 8:02 is our time right now, taking a look at your Code Red forecast. I mentioned the one big thing in the forecast that has changed since you went to bed, and that is timing of the rain that we're going to have Friday into Saturday. We've bumped it up even more than we did yesterday. So now we're talking around dinner time on Friday through about lunchtime on Saturday. The best chance for rain, most of it overnight, about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall. Now that has not changed. The amount has not. The timing has shifted to earlier Friday and ending earlier on Saturday. Few snow showers are still possible as this system exits through southern Kentucky and the plateau, but not worrying about anything sticking here. And no rain this morning. Taking a look downtown, it's just very cold. It almost looks cold outside. It feels like we're in the teens and low 20s. Right side of your screen, actual temperatures are in the 20s to start this morning. Finally, though, all of our feels like numbers are out of the teens. That is good news. For the first time this morning, we're seeing a little bit of improvement for how it feels. 46 degrees this afternoon, 45 tomorrow. 2 more nights back to back, tonight and tomorrow, that will be in the 20s once again. 51 on Friday, so a great start to the day before that rain moves in a little later. We'll show you the updated future track here coming up in about 10 minutes from right now.
Steer clear traffic this morning at 8:03. Let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with here at I-65. This is at Dickerson Pike as you make your way in from that north side this morning. So we showed you the slowdown near Trinity Lane, closer to I-24, about a mile from here. That's where it starts to bunch up and slow down. But this part of the drive from here back towards Ord Hickory Boulevard into Madison area, back towards Rivergate Parkway, looking great. Wide open and smooth this morning. Really won't probably start bunching up until this time next this week. Other things we're following, and that is on I-40 out there near the airport. Sun is up. Get those sunglasses out, but no big delays out there either once you get to the airport or outside the airport. Also looking really good.
Justin, thank you. As the legislative session is about to begin, there are questions about immigration policies that are here in Nashville and still lingering around.
Yeah, I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of people who continue to come across our southern border, whether they're here legally or illegally. We are seeing the impact and hearing from those leaders. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live right now with that perspective.
Jen and Erica, the Biden administration just announced they plan to reopen border crossings. This comes as reports say that border officials are on track to process more than 300,000 migrants for the month of December alone. This could be the highest amount on record, which could mean that more migrants would spill into the U.S. and head to different cities, including right here in Nashville. We know that migrants come here weekly seeking refuge or resources. I spoke to our local leaders who are preparing for the conversation of immigration policy here in Tennessee for the legislative session. Democratic Representative Afton Bain tells me what we should be focused on.
What we really need to be focused on are kitchen table issues. I think people get anxious when they're concerned about their future, when they can't pay their light bills, when they're having trouble putting food on the table. And instead, let's address the material conditions of Tennesseans to improve their daily lives.
Fox 17 received a statement from House Majority Leader William Lamberth that reads in part, these disastrous open border policies and their consequences are affecting every state, including Tennessee. We'll have more for you coming up in the next half hour. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, coming up, the December the 9th tornado may have damaged a legendary mansion beyond repair. I'm going to tell you what could happen to the former home of Conway Twitty when we come back. .808 is the time. The damage from the December the 9th tornado is causing a lot of homes and businesses to totally rebuild. But there is one famous home in Hendersonville that may not survive. Let's take a look, everyone. This is a picture of Conway Twitty's house there, there in Hendersonville, courtesy of Rick Murray. We appreciate him for providing us with this picture. This is after the December the 9th tornado that ripped apart so much of Clarksville, Hendersonville, and Madison and beyond. You can see some of the pieces of the roof that are missing there from that mansion built back in 1982. Well, of course, the Conway Twitty estate no longer owns that property. It is now owned by Trinity Broadcasting Networks. They are trying to figure out what to build on the property. They say the mansion is too far beyond repair in order to fix. They are thinking about tearing it down. Now, it was once a major tourist attraction. The city of Hendersonville was asking, is it possible to save the mansion? This is what they said.
Would you be open to leaving the Twitty house?
If you see where the Twitty house is, it's smack in the middle of everything, and it has no use. It's dysfunctional. I understand, that there's some affection for the history of something, but it hasn't been viable or done anything for many years, and it's just there. I know I brought in some of our people. They had no idea who Conway Twitty was. They didn't know anything about it. I'm talking about an engineer who's been out of school 3 years, a designer. I think that we have to be sort of multi-generational and look beyond and say, how are we going to preserve and do it? I don't see how we could make that work.
The Conway Twitty mansion was once the centerpiece of a major attraction in Hendersonville called Twitty City. Built back in 1982, tours were given there until 2016.
Forecast moving forward, we're going to get back to the 40s later on this afternoon, but winter coats for the next 2 to 3 hours. Weather maker down to our south, forget about that. That's not moving in our direction. So no rain today, tomorrow, or the beginning of Friday. I mentioned later in the day that's when our chance for rain will move in. Let's take a look right here on Future Track and work through our Wednesday and Thursday that do stay dry. Now let's move into where we do see the rain and multiple hours worth of steady rainfall. 6, 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday. If you have evening plans, maybe nighttime plans, it's going to be raining on and off for us here. The rain moves out middle of the day on Saturday. Here's Sunday. Titans' last home game, or last game, really. Taking a look here. Can't rule out a stray shower, but don't necessarily plan for rain. Definitely not a washout in the forecast. How much do we see by the end of the 7-day forecast? 1 to 3 inches, because we have another weather maker on Tuesday of next week that we're going to keep deep diving into. In the next check of your forecast, we'll also get you back to your 7-day and see when the nighttime temperatures get a little more comfortable.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's take you over to the west side. This is going to be I-40 at 46th Avenue in the Nations. You can see traffic moving along there without any issue. We're wide open, looking good. Watch out for the stray car sitting there on the shoulder of the road. But other than that, you're doing just fine in all directions there. This is I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway, making their way in from Antioch. We did have a traffic pop this morning, what I call a little moment of congestion out there on 24 on 65, but all of that's starting to ease up as people are starting to finally pull into work.
Wild Horse Saloon closes its doors after 30 years of being the largest dance floor. What's next for this historic location?
Hey everybody,
Welcome back. 8:15 is the time. Right now in your community, the Wild Horse Saloon closing their doors after nearly 30 years. So many memories.
Yeah, a lot of memories. A lot of folks upset to see it go. Others are excited about the future. And that's where we come in this morning, taking a look at what's going to move in next. After the Wild Horse announces they're officially closing the doors, we have Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse live on the story this morning downtown.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So 30 years, nearly 30 years of the Wild Horse Saloon, an iconic bar here on 2nd Avenue. There's a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to this bar closing. Some people, like you had mentioned, they're upset. Some are excited to see what the future holds. And this bar will soon be transformed into Luke Combs's Honky Tonk. It's inspired by Luke Combs, and the owners of the Wild Horse Saloon say on Facebook they are looking forward to this new chapter. There's mixed reactions from you, our viewers, but some former employees commented their support and how they are glad they got to work at a great environment. Others say it was their go-to spot and will miss the ribs. Management says that they are grateful for their guests, the artists, and the staff that made this a Nashville staple. Now, Luke Combs' bar is set to open in the summer of 2024, and Luke Combs says that this is a dream come true for him, as he has spent a lot of time on Broadway performing for the honky tonks before he made his big break. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
8:16 is the time right now, and we have our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bovis, who's been working hard to get all these little fine-tuned details of the forecast nailed down as we get closer to the weekend.
Yeah, it's a weekend weather maker, so every hour is important because you want to maximize your time. So I'll give you the most likely scenario, and this will change a little bit more in the next 48 hours, but it's already changed twice in just the last 12.
Wow.
So here we are. This is what we're dealing with when it comes to the 3 big things in the forecast. Chilly mornings are ahead of us. We've got one now, we have one tomorrow, and we've got one on Friday. We can't escape the cold. Patches of fog that we had this morning are continuing to lift. Good news there. Much needed rainfall, though. What we do get this weekend, we need. So it's actually a good thing. Looking downtown, like I've been saying all morning, I've been showing skyline views because it just looks cold outside, and the second you walk out the door, it almost takes your breath away. Feels like temperatures still in the low 20s, and we're getting close to the 8:30 half hour. That just tells you how uncharacteristically cold that we really are to start off this day. Looking at your 7-day forecast, you will see a little bit of relief for nighttime temperatures Saturday and Sunday nights. Warm front moves in to bring that rain, and as far as the timeline goes, I'm going to spell it out. 6 p.m. right around then on Friday. Through around lunchtime on Saturday. Scattered light to moderate rainfall. Low impact when it comes to any threat for severe weather. None of that out there, but definitely could impact Friday evening plans. If you've got anything dialed up, make sure we're going rain gear ready for Friday evening.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get you out to I-24 Harding Place. This is that drive coming in from the Antioch area. Traffic is moving along. Not a lot of issues out there to tell you about right now. We seem to be accident free out there on the interstates. Maybe some congestion here and there on the north side, perhaps around Trinity Lane. But for the most part, we're doing okay. This is that drive coming in from Antioch, as I mentioned there. Occasionally you'll find something on the shoulder of the road, but not this morning. We're doing good. Here is the look in from Franklin. Good morning out there in Williamson County. 65 out there at Boers Lane, wide open and smooth. If you've got the early morning car drop off, a lot of dealerships over here where people are going in for service work, you're doing fine.
Justin, thank you. New this morning, we told you about the dip in gas prices over the holiday season, but that could be short-lived.
Yeah, the escalating war involving Israel and Hamas, which is now spreading beyond its borders, could certainly impact us here at home. And for how that could play out, we have Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino joining us live in studio.
All right, guys. Well, the first major development here is the assassination of Hamas deputy leader behind me there, Salah al-Aruri. Now, he was killed in Lebanon yesterday. U.S. officials say Israel is behind his death. This has extremists right now in Lebanon calling for revenge. Now, this is very significant because it shows that Israel will go after Hamas leaders who are not just in Gaza. They'll go after people who are in other surrounding countries as well, and that could spread the conflict north of Israel and beyond. Another breaking development right now. There are two separate blasts that killed 73 people in Iran yesterday near the gravesite of slain military commander Qassem Soleimani, who you're looking at there. Iranian officials calling it a terror attack. We don't know who's behind it, but Soleimani was killed by a U.S. airstrike 4 years ago to the day yesterday. So again, more violence here, escalating the entire region. Now, Iran is stationing a Navy vessel in the Red Sea right now. This is significant because the Red Sea is a major trade hub here, and if shipping boats now have to find new routes around it, that could take longer journeys and increase oil prices and container shipping prices as well. Let's take a look at those most recent gas prices locally and nationally. Nationally, we're at $3.09. In Tennessee, we're below that at $2.73. Davidson County, $2.73. Williamson County, avoid filling up in Williamson if you can. They're higher, one of the highest in the mid-state at this point, above $3 per gallon. Everywhere else is in the twos. So again, we are watching how this escalating and spreading violence in the Middle East could ultimately have impacts on trade, shipping, and then that again translates to gas prices. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
It is a new year, still facing the same threat though when it comes to health concerns, at least according to some doctors. They're talking about this so-called triple threat in minutes.
Law working with
8:24 is the time here on this Wednesday morning. Continuing coverage as we bring you a Fox 17 health alert this morning. In case you missed it, Tennessee is joining 6 other states that is leading the flu report activity out there, according to the CDC.
When we do have hospitalizations or severe infections or deaths, it's normally in immunocompromised or higher risk individuals, just because it takes a little bit longer for their body to recuperate and their systems aren't as strong.
Now, the CDC's latest data, in fact, this is their flu map, shows that Tennessee is experiencing what they consider very high flu activity. The Tennessee Department of Health shows hospital visits for the flu-like illnesses peaked the week before Christmas compared to the week before that.
Well, the other states that are leading flu cases across the country include Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and New Mexico. What do they all have in common? Well, except for New Mexico, they're southern states.
All right, we were curious, a lot of folks talking about, a sickness going around, and vaccines. Have you gotten a flu or COVID vaccine this season? If you haven't, will you, or do you plan not to get one at all? This poll is live right now. Let's see here. The question, as you can see here, have you gotten a flu or COVID vaccine this season? Right now, we have the majority of you saying you haven't gotten either vaccine. That's 68% of you saying that's a pass on both of them. You can cast your vote right now in this poll. It is live at twitter.com. You can find us at the handle at Fox Nashville.
8:26. I'm checking your forecast here this morning to get you up and get you moving. And I want to point out one thing, because we've been talking about rain, and you might think I have weekend plans. I don't want rain. Well, we're so hard pressed to get some that every little drop is going to help us. This is our drought monitor, and they release it every Thursday, meaning tomorrow we get a brand new one, and it will likely look worse. The warmer the color, the more rain we need, and the more in a deficit we are over the last 6 months, really. So 1 to 3 inches of rain in the next 7 days is going to be helpful. However, if you're in the Cumberland Plateau, there's a chance you might catch a flurry or two. This is going to be Friday night into Saturday. It's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to stick. But if we were to see anything white falling from the sky, that's the location we'd be watching for here, especially as you're waking up very early on your Saturday morning.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning on I-65 at the I-24 junction there on the north side. Starting to see traffic congestion easing up just a little bit. We do run into some minor problems the closer you get to Trinity Lane, but overall not that bad. If you wanted to take Ellington Parkway to get by some of this, you could. But again, overall not that bad of a drive, no matter where you're coming from right now.
Justin, thank you. Right now, Fox 17 News following breaking news this Wednesday morning regarding the ongoing crisis at our southern border. What's new for you is to know from our nation's capital. Okay, that's where House Republicans say they are taking steps to impeach Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas. This does follow a near-year investigation into his role into the hundreds of thousands who are continuing to cross the border illegally. Lawmakers sharing a statement, reading in part, will be conducting hearings and taking up articles of impeachment against the secretary in the coming weeks. A lot of questions surrounding this breaking news update, which is why it's a story we're continuously updating over on fox17.com.
A spike in illegal crossings at the border prompts response from lawmakers. Coming up, hear from what 2 House representatives have to say.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Very chilly mornings continue when warmer air moves in, and tracking a weekend weather maker in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic this morning on the north side. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard looking great so far this morning. We're going to tell you some other places around town.
All right, thanks for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. 30 minutes to go here to get you updated before you head out the door.
All right, for the first story that we're going to get to, reports say the Department of Homeland Security has documented a spike in illegal border crossings for the month of December.
Yeah, and Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar talking with our local leaders and lawmakers who are reacting to that news and how they plan to deal with this in this legislative session. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. The legislative session, as you might know, is a time where lawmakers come together to discuss and try to pass bills, which they hope would eventually become law. Some of the bills that we have seen here in the past are measures to try to curb illegal immigration. One of the bills that we reported on back in March is a proposed law that would stop undocumented immigrants from being housed on state property. It had the words illegal alien in it. Democratic Representative Afton Bain tells me she plans to focus on pushing back on this kind of legislation and creating different kinds of bills.
You know, we need to create the conditions to make it fertile to accept these people with open arms and to give them everything they need to be successful in the state instead of trying to push them down. So welcome to Tennessee. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, that's a message that Representative Bain is giving to any new arrivals that might be coming. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, those new arrivals are coming here weekly And so we're expecting more of them to be coming in the future. Now, as a response to Bain's statement and the border crossings, House Majority Leader William Lamberth also sent a statement to Fox 17 that says, in part, the continued failure of the Biden administration to properly secure our nation's borders threatens the safety and security of every American. These disastrous open border policies and their consequences are affecting every state, including Tennessee. Now, we want to remind folks at home that the next legislative session will be on the upcoming Tuesday. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Greg, noticing that our field reporters this morning, Peyton and Karen, both have the big coats all bundled up.
Big coats bundled up, not just today, but tomorrow and also Friday. So whatever you wear this morning to try to stay warm, do the exact same thing the next couple of days.
No short sleeves outside.
Short sleeves inside, though. Yeah, if you want to, if it's warm enough for you, but not outside. Absolutely not. Yeah, and wear pants. This is not a shorts and t-shirts get away with the kind of thing.
Because it never fails. People email asking, why are you wearing short sleeves? It's hot in here with the lights.
We're in reasonable temperatures like you are inside, so you can wear what you want.
For now we are.
Yes, for now we are. Well, we'll have to walk outside. If this was you this morning, this will be you tomorrow morning and also Friday morning too. If you're parked outside, there may be some defrosting going on here, and defrosting, deglazing, not types of things that you would talk about when it comes to outside, with more cooking terms than anything else. But this time around, we've got the ice on some windshields, and that will be the case. Once the sun comes up, you're pretty much good to go. But if you're getting out the door before that sunrise the next few days, get ready for it. Rain is the name of the game for the weekend, late Friday into Saturday. So only the first half of the weekend, about a half of an inch to an inch of rain is possible. It's needed rain, so it's a good thing for us. But if you have Friday evening plans, that's the window of opportunity. So maybe you're going to go out on Broadway, or you have people coming into town and taking them out. Plan for rain after dark on Friday, all overnight, and then into the first half of your Saturday.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to Vietnam Veterans Boulevard near Gallatin Pike. We are doing fine out there in Sumner County as you make that drive in. Beautiful, beautiful drive, even though things will start to thicken up coming up here over the next few days as people start to return to work and school. We've already seen an early morning pop, but some people have already gone back to work. But once the school session gets back in Sumner County and over in Metro, that's when things are really going to change. This is 65 at Harding Place here on the south side, looking really nice this morning. But again, those 80,000 students from Metro will be back in session coming up here starting Monday.
Right now we have an interesting community update because after 30 years, there is a Nashville staple, the Wild Horse Saloon. Maybe you have some memories there. Well, they're closing their doors.
Yeah, this is a music venue in downtown Nashville where you could go line dancing. They even had a TV show that broadcast from there teaching people how to line dance. It's one of the reasons that Nashville got on the map.
I love that.
That was 1994.
Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse joining us live downtown with some more reaction there. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. And actually, that's interesting. I didn't know that there was a TV show based on the Wild Horse Saloon. So that's something that I learned today. But one thing I can tell you is that we've learned that this bar is turning into Luke Combs's Honky Tonk. Now, a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to the Wild Horse Saloon closing its doors, but the owners say on Facebook that they're excited for the next chapter. So it doesn't sound like the Wild Horse Saloon is gone forever. Maybe a new location in the future. We'll keep you posted on that. But the bar will be reinvented again into Luke Combs's inspired honky tonk. One viewer says, quote, "I went a few times, sad it's closing because it was a landmark." Another says they wish all the country stars would leave Nashville alone. They're not doing us any favors. I miss the old Nashville. Now, organizers for the new venue say they will keep the saloon's existing stage for line dancing, and it is the biggest or the largest stage here in Nashville for dancing. And Luke Combs' bar is expected to open the summer of 2024. Reporting live downtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Peyton, thank you. Yeah, Jen. Oh, well, here we go. Out of the playoffs, but still something to play for. The hurdles the Titans will face in their final game of the season happening on Sunday.
John, come out.
At 8:40, Fox 17 News continuing to follow breaking news out of South Nashville. New this half hour, though, is more video right behind me here from this scene. All of this happening at the 4900 block of Shasta Drive. Our team was out there just before 4 a.m. speaking with officers about the shots fired. Metro Police, though, telling Fox 17 News that a man was shot right in the top of the ankle area and then taken over to the hospital. As of right now, we can say no arrests have been made, but make sure you download our free Fox 17 News app for updates throughout the day.
Looking at your forecast and tracking the next weather maker for you. First of all, when you look at your radar, maybe you're out and about on your phone later today. If you see green down to the south of us, that's where it stays. This is not our next system moving in. Today will be dry. We'll be dry tomorrow. We'll also be dry the majority of Friday. So you can see this does scoot down to our south, and then we get some dry air. But we're going to have a little cloud influence here from that system that'll get kicked up toward us here throughout the afternoon. Then let's talk about what happens this weekend and the new timeline that we do have as we wake up here on a Wednesday morning. This is Friday at 7 p.m. You can see the green beginning to come into Middle Tennessee, and then we have showers that will be overnight into the first half of your Saturday. Cool front moves in on Sunday that could give us a stray shower, but the bulk of our rain going to be overnight Friday into the first half of Saturday. About an inch or so of rain possible with that, but then another batch moves in as we go into Tuesday. That one could give us a little wind with it, and also a potential of 1 to 2 more inches of rain. So when all is said and done, 1 to 3 inches of rain in the next 7 days, we need it. Visibility tracker has gone to completely clear for us, so that's a good story. However, we're going to start cold once again tomorrow. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are there for you every morning. Even during the commercial breaks, 20s overnight tonight, 20s overnight tomorrow night as well. And then we're back to 30s for nighttime temperatures for the weekend. It's just that first half of the weekend where if you have outdoor plans, you have to plan for some rain as well.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you to I-40 at 46th Avenue over on the west side of town. We've got a disabled vehicle there on the shoulder. TDOT is there trying to take care of that and get that driver on the way. Not causing big delays, just something to be aware of and something to see your tax dollars at work. After all, you pay for those yellow trucks that are out and about. We'll let you know if anything does happen with Steer Clear Traffic, live and local with you through 9.
At 8:42 right now. We're going to talk Titans, not just the team, but we're talking about development of the brand new stadium. Justin first introduced us to Titans Town yesterday. We're going to expand on that in just a couple minutes.
All right.
New year, a new look for. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It's 8:45. I know a lot of you are incorporating healthier choices as part of your New Year's resolutions. And there's one place that can help you keep that resolution. Radnor Lake is going to be offering a new path to health, you could say. And right now, as it turns out, they're also going to take your Christmas tree. Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Brett Luna, they let him out and about, and he's got that story for us.
I'm out here at Radnor Lake State Park right now and just wanted to have a little bit of fun with this story today. I love going on hikes. Today we had some really good weather for it too, especially if you like it a little bit on the cooler side. But just always so good to just get outdoors and enjoy nature and just get on some nice hikes. But there's a couple of things that I want to point out. One is the Harris Ridge Trail. I'm hoping that that gets completed this year, 2024. Once that is completed, that's going to be a new 3-mile hiking trail for you. And also want to come over here to this big old pile of Christmas trees too. And what this is their Christmas tree program. This is at the Visitor Center parking lot right off of the Granny White Pike exit. So what you'll do is you have until January 31st to do this. Bring your Christmas tree out here, throw it up on top of this big pile of trees that's already here. Just make sure there's no sort of decorations or anything on the tree. It's just supposed to be the tree itself. And then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to get all these trees, they're going to grind them up, turn them into some mulch, and then that's going to create that nice soft trail that you're walking on out here at Radnor Lake. Reporting in Nashville, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Man, that is a really good idea. I don't remember that last year, so pretty cool for Brett Luna to show us that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, maybe you want to get outside this weekend, go for a hike. There are certain hours where I would advise not to unless you want to get rained on.
Okay.
Maybe you like that. Maybe that's, comforting to you.
I'm having flashbacks to a time we went on a hike. And it was still kind of wet from an earlier rain, Greg.
Yeah.
And my daughter slipped.
Ooh.
And sliced her hand.
Yeah.
So I'm going to second your suggestion.
Don't run in the rain.
Don't go hike, especially in some of our parks where it's real rocky.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
don't head out there if it's been raining.
Now, if you're heading out this morning for a morning run, no matter where you might be going, whatever your path of choice is, exercise forecast, we're getting out of the coldest part of the morning and starting to get a little bit better. 40 degrees by 11 o'clock, 43 at noon. Clouds have begun to pick up and they will continue to do so throughout the day. A fairly overcast one here. Thoughts about rain versus snow for the weekend. Every weathermaker when it comes into Middle Tennessee has the potential to do something that might catch you off guard. This time around, if you're in the Cumberland Plateau, you might get a few snowflakes flying. Most of us just going to have some rainfall that does move in late Friday into the first half of Saturday. So that's that time frame to not run in the rain. The rest of your weekend, though, drier by Sunday, warmer nights. If you walked out this morning and maybe you're just back inside right now, maybe you let the dog out really quickly, or you ran that early morning grocery shopping before everything gets busy. Well, the nighttime temperatures in the 30s over the weekend, Saturday into Sunday and Sunday into Monday. So we do get a little reprieve from the 20s as far as nighttime temperatures go. And look at the ups and downs here on the 7-day. Now, I'm not just talking highs, but also low temperatures. 46 today. It'll feel very much like yesterday. 45 degrees for Thursday, 51 on Friday, and then back into the upper 40s, a little more overcast, and that rain will cool us a bit, but the cloud cover will also help keep us a little bit warmer. And that's when those 30s do come back in. Look at next week. The best day in the forecast is absolutely going to be Monday. Partly to mostly cloudy, but 55 degrees, and then a little breezy and rainy to get back into your Tuesday. Expect about an inch or two of rain on that day to go into the middle of the upcoming week.
Still clear traffic this morning. We are watching I-40 at 46th Avenue over on the west side of town. As you can see, traffic moving along just fine. We did have a problem over there with a disabled vehicle a short time ago. TDOT was able to get there and get them out of the way here pretty fast. So good work by the TDOT trucks. And now you're smooth sailing coming in from the West Nashville area, including places like Bellevue and Kingston Springs, Fairview, and beyond. Let's take a look here at 65 at Rivergate Parkway. As you make that drive in from the north side, they are promising a new big box store that's opening up there very soon in that area. So heads up, as there could be an increase in traffic. Brand new Sam's Club / Costco type of store called BJ's is going to be opening up there. They've already opened up a couple of other locations here. So they've got billboards up, you know, the whole thing, grand opening and all that happening up there very soon. So heads up there in the Rivergate area as they try to, do something with some of that space up there with the mall.
All right, now Justin has my attention. Looking ahead, though, changes are on the way for the home of the Titans. In just a couple of weeks, crews are breaking ground on something called, we talked about this, Titans Town.
Right, Justin first broke it down for us yesterday morning, and now we're expanding on this just a little bit so that you know what's to come. What you're looking at here is a rendering of sorts showing a trailer hub, 56 trailers in what is a mini city that will serve as construction central for the $2 billion domed stadium. This is going to be the biggest visual change that we have seen so far ahead of the actual stadium demolition and then construction. This hub will also have space for classrooms for on-the-job training.
There hasn't been a meeting that I've been a part of where we talk about the participation of local and diverse vendors on this project where I haven't gotten a little bit emotional about the idea that this is not something where we are going to just follow contracts. We are going to do the right thing. We are going to be creative. We are going to be thoughtful, and we are going to do the right thing. I just promise you. That's our attitude, that's our spirit, that's our intent.
We also want to let you know the new Dome Stadium is set to be completed in 2027. The first event is going to be WrestleMania. And talking about sports and looking ahead to Sunday. This Sunday is where we're going to wrap up the regular season when an NFL doubleheader. That's when Minnesota is taking on Detroit. That's going to be a noon game. And that is going to be followed by Dallas taking on Washington at 3 o'clock.
Still to come as we get closer to 9 o'clock, we're sharing the story of one family still shaken after their car is shot up over the weekend while they were here for the Music City Bowl. We'll also get you updated on that investigation in minutes.
Feels good to be home.
A family says they are still traumatized after they came to Nashville for the Music City Bowl, and they were in downtown over the weekend when bullets pierced through their car with their 2 children sitting in the back seat.
A very scary situation, and this bullet hole is just inches away, they say, from a child's car seat. The family all saying it all happened shortly after leaving the Auburn pep rally, which was downtown, the Music City Bowl, this weekend. The family now giving credit to God that no one got hurt. The Metro Police Department says it appears a shot was fired in the air and then came down, ultimately hitting that car.
I'm just thankful that everybody's safe and no one was injured. I'm sorry that they had a horrific time and horrific experience. There's nothing, I can't imagine how scary that was. But I want people to know that overall we are a safe city. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure people are safe and comfortable.
Metro Councilmember Jacob Coupin says he's working to find rough spots and respond accordingly.
Yeah, make sure you have